Welcome back to Serie, a spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love now.
This might be bad.
But your group has really some characters in it, no?
Ora naħseb.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Serie A Spotlight. We're your host Jake
And Matt.
and this is episode 204, where we'll be covering all the details of Matchday 20 in Serie A, while having a look at Matchday 19 very briefly and running down what happened over there.
Yes, we have a packed episode, so we need to jump straight into this one. However, Christmas was, 3 weeks ago now?
Mhm.
And us being Fenix, and we have the same problem, our gifts for each other, of course, arrived late. As you guys know, listeners from way back when will know, we always exchange obscure kits to each other every Christmas. We have our gifts now. So
We do,
I guess
shall
we just go ahead. Let's do a quick rock, paper, scissors, and that person decides who receives their gift first.
Okay, and are we also going to try to guess what the other person got us?
Sure.
Okay.
You know how I feel about it, but sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's do it.
We do it?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we do a 3-1 or rock, paper, scissors?
Rock,
Alright, let's
paper,
do this.
scissors, shoot.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, so I win. Which means I get to decide who goes first.
Yes.
So I would like you to open yours first.
Okay, amazing. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, so you have to give me... I was going to pick up yours and open it. Insane. Oh.
So here we are. Incredible wrapping.
Of course.
Incredible condition it arrived in over here. Look at that. Didn't take a dent to the head. But yes, here you are, brother.
Thank you
Wh-
very
what do you
much,
think
King.
it is?
I have quite a strong feeling because I know how your brain works. And I
I'm
think
going to say as poker faced as possible. 1 sec.
I think it would be Nico Paz. I think.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Who else? What other ideas do you have?
I also thought McTominay. I think it might be... Because I'm trying to think of kits I don't own, right? To be fair, I have a Napoli one, but McTominay is like a goat, so... I'm sorry, I'm really trying to open this box without scissors. Right.
I hope it's the gift. It's just a random package.
Oh, it has come on it. It has come on it. Did I call it? Is it Paz or Perrone?
Who knows?
Look, let me tell you what I think. I think it's Paz.
Could be Ramon.
I think it's Paz because it's his last season in the league, and I called him world class early on in the season. And okay, there's another detail, but I don't want to. Oh my god, it's it. I can't believe it. It's the Revolut kit. It's the fucking Revolut kit. Insane, bro. It's what I was fucking hoping for. It's Nico Paz! Yes!
Careful
Look
the
at
trick.
that.
Incredible.
Look at that.
Wow.
Mental. I'm so fucking glad it's Nico Paz. Jeez, man.
Look at that. That's a beautiful
Alright.
kid, this one. Huh?
I fucking adore it, bro. Thank you so much.
No problem at all,
Thank
bro.
you, bro. Thank you.
So, I was torn and I wasn't sure what to get you. And I thought Nico Paz would be too obvious, but it was obvious for a reason. Because this guy has the potential to go to the very top. And it would be cool to have, like, the club where he broke out and burst into the scene, to have his kid from that team.
Absolutely. And I'm a huge admirer of his. Once I
Exactly.
guessed that it would be Nico Paz, it's when you got me a Reinders kit.
Ah, yes.
Who do you think you have?
I have a feeling it might be, and I was gonna get this for you, but I was worried you'd get it for me. I have a feeling it might be Jamie Vardy Cremonese. Also maybe Lucca Napoli. Does it have to be? Did it have to be from this season?
No.
It could be Lucca from last. I don't know.
I don't know.
could
We didn't really set
I
rules,
think
did
it would be Vardy if I had to guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
The question is, what would you like it to be as well?
This is open.
I had to check it out because mine actually arrived a week ago.
It's Cremonese. No way, bro. We're in each other's heads. This is mental. Please be Terracciano. Please be Terracciano.
Might be Bonazzoli, bro.
Ooh, oh, wouldn't even be upset. Oh yes, dude. Oh yes. Fuck.
Fuck yes,
Yes.
man.
Oh, it's a
Fuck
beautiful kit as well.
I got you this one. I was really considering the red and grey, but then I remember you put it in like tier F.
Yeah. This is
in the
much
kit
nicer.
ranking
I love this.
episode.
Jamie, Vardy's having a party.
Yes,
bro.
he is. Jamie Vardy's having a party.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Good choice.
Shall
Quick
we
pause.
slip
let's,
into these?
Let's slip into them. We're back. We're back in our brand new kits. Amazing, brother.
Yes.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into it
Yeah.
because we've got a lot to cover today. So firstly, let's go through match day 19 a little bit before we go through the matches of match day 20, right? So in match day 19, the weekend didn't start off, but we'll start from the top of the table. So Napoli were actually held by Hellas Verona, who were 2-0 up until McTominay got one back for Napoli, and then Marianucci came in clutch and got an assist for Di Lorenzo at the end of the match.
Lovely bit of skill by Marianucci to let the ball kind of run a little bit before crossing it perfectly. And what a finish, expert finish. Was it Di Lorenzo?
It was Di Lorenzo at the near post.
Yeah, he finished it so cleanly. He made it look really easy as well. Yeah. Interesting observation from this game was Gift Orban's celebration. He got told off by the referee and got a yellow card for it. Of course, those of you who follow us on socials will have seen it already. He gunned down the fans and then pretended to slit his own throat while his mouth was wide open and his eyes were bulging and his tongue was hanging out. Yeah,
he has a mixtape somewhere, this guy.
He got booked for that, but the official Serie social media accounts are posting it everywhere now.
Yeah, what I reckon...
So do you want people to see it or not?
I reckon they want people to see it. The referee is just a terrible marketer, and he doesn't know what virality is.
Yeah.
So yeah, boo the
Fair
ref.
enough. Yeah.
But disappointing result for Napoli, especially with them heading into the Inter game, which we'll be covering later on. In fact, Inter did capitalize with a 2-0 away victory against Parma. I watched this game on my phone. Ask me anything about this game.
No idea.
Don't know. Foggy as hell. I have no idea how the players perform under such conditions. Probably the fog would be higher up, I would hope. So the players actually know what's going on around them.
I have absolutely no idea. What I do know is that Di Marco is lethal from that left side. It doesn't matter how tight the angle is. He'll find a way to get it in. It doesn't matter who the keeper is or how big he is. He'll squeeze it in over there. Nice goal from Thuram and a very jovial celebration at the end as well.
Thuram's just having fun.
He's just having fun.
He is, man.
Literally.
He is.
He's jumping around, smiling.
But I remember every time Inter were getting the ball towards the edge of the area, I was literally saying, Inter are going to score. They're so accurate when they're around the area, man.
Yeah.
And I had another observation to make. Corvi for Parma has been doing bits. I think... when he started playing in place of Suzuki, we had our reservations about him, but I think he's doing pretty well. He pulled off some good saves in this game and even in previous fixtures as well.
He's been fine. Of course, Suzuki is capable of doing the spectacular and making saves look amazing, but Corvi's been solid without the erratic nature of Suzuki.
Exactly. He's more of a traditional kind of goalkeeper. And then there was Milan actually failed to capitalize on the draw of Napoli as well. So this was a huge week for Inter as Milan were held by Genoa with a score of 1-1 at the San Siro. This was a nightmare game for Milan. Of course, Colombo had to score against Milan. Some weak defending by Gabbia. Tomori totally keeping him on side as well. So a lapse in concentration over there. Colombo with mixed emotions. Leao got the equalizer in the 92nd minute. And he ran straight to celebrate with Fofana, who had another iconic or not so iconic moment in front of goal. Where a Fofana moment. The ball bounced in front of him. Any player in the world would tap that in with his right boot.
Yeah, it was like right in front of the goal line, like with an empty net. It was all he had to do was make contact with it, and he totally misread it. I don't know if he thought maybe he couldn't reach it, but he just flopped.
I don't know why he went for a header. It shows the lack of confidence in that sense. Clearly, it's getting to him, the fact that he's been clumsy in front of goal, that he has wayward shooting, etc. Went for the header, completely missed it. As a result, of course, Milan won, Genoa won, and Milan held up by another relegation-threatened team.
Yeah.
Juve, on the other hand, after that miserable performance against Lecce, they bounced back and absolutely smashed Sassuolo with the score of 3-0. And actually, David came back and scored a goal, which was great. A lovely goal, a really well taken goal. You wouldn't guess that he would have just missed that penalty, attempted that half-assed Panenka, etc. And Miretti had a good game as well. Miretti has been since utilised by Spalletti, and he scored a goal in this game.
Yeah, and we will talk about Juve's recent success in quite a lot of detail, but we'll save it for the Matchday 20 round.
Exactly. There was also a victory for Roma, who have since gotten back to winning ways, a 2-0 away victory against Lecce. The most important thing for them, aside for the 3 points, however, is that their 2 strikers scored in this game. The opener by Ferguson and then Dovbyk just sealed things off. Great for 2 strikers that are low on confidence. Como beat Pisa 3-0 away from home, and this was actually the game that was taking place while we were recording the last episode. At Duvikas doppietta, very well taken goals by Duvikas. There was a Perrone goal as well, a very well taken Perrone goal from just outside the box. And Nzola missed a penalty in this game as well. I would have bet money when I saw Nzola
and I
stepping
prefer
up to take
not
the
to
penalty.
speak about this man. It's like this guy is allergic to big moments. Fucking hell.
Takes us back to the
Hellas
Verona
Verona
Spezia
Yeah.
relegation play out, which we haven't had in a while. I really hope we get one this season.
Pure cinema.
Bologna 0, Atalanta 2. Great victory for Atalanta. Another loss for Bologna. Good sign for Atalanta again is that there was another doppietta this week, and this time it was through Krstovic. But Atalanta made it look quite easy. Bologna didn't really put up much of a fight in this game. Clean win for Atalanta.
Palladino's Atalanta are really taking shape. Also, Kristovic's celebration would be the spectral opposite of Gift Orbán's, because he just did the sign of the cross in the camera.
I believe it was not the sign of the cross we're used to seeing as kids. I think it was
the Orthodox
one goes right and then left. But Kristovic, of course,
Kristovic, yeah, it's
God.
Jesus.
Exactly. Christo God or I don't know.
They're the same.
I guess there's all that.
And the bird.
And the bird, the Holy Spirit. I thought Mary Magdalene, bro. The bird.
Yep.
Lazio 2, Fiorentina 2. Lazio were distraught again because there was a penalty that was given away in the 89th minute, which Fiorentina converted. You could see the player as he makes the challenge, as he was sliding, he pulled away. However, his hind leg did make contact with the player. However, Lazio feel they were hard done by. This is becoming a bit of a theme now. So Fiorentina got the lead in the 89th minute through a penalty, only for Lazio to be awarded a penalty in the 95th, and they converted it through Pedro. So it's nice to see Pedro score in the 95th minute this season as well.
Yeah.
After it was his part-time job.
I called him a waiter on a cruise ship last week.
Exactly.
Also, Guendouzi.
Yes.
This would have been his last game for Lazio, and like a few days later, what was it? I don't know when this game was played.
3 days,
but like 3 days later, he was playing in the Super Cup final in Turkey against Galatasaray, playing for Fenerbahce, and he actually scored.
He scored.
Yeah. Also, to rub salt into the wounds of Lazio fans, Tati Castellanos also scored for West Ham as well. So maybe the grass is greener outside of Lazio.
Yeah, maybe it is. We'll wait to see. I'm still waiting on them to sign a striker. We'll wait and see. But yes, that was a 2-2 draw between Lazio and Fiorentina. A team on the up and a team on the down. That's the way I'd put it. Torino 1, Udinese 2. Once again, we saw Casadei get on the score sheet. He scored last week as well. It was a late consolation though, but Udinese looked spectacular in this game. They looked really, really good. Another goal by Zaniolo, but it's all about how solid and in control Udinese looked throughout the game. They were impressive.
Yeah, they really were. And they have quite a few players who can be quite inventive at times, with Eklinkamp playing out wide and then having Miller in the middle and Zaniolo up front. That's 3 creative players. Something we're not really used to seeing with Udinese, creative players. Usually they've got the odd one starting.
Yeah,
it
like
used to be
Thuvan,
DePaul. It used to be Thuvan, exactly. So
Molina.
nice to see these. Yeah.
Back in the day as well
Yeah.
on the right wing.
Seko
back row.
Fofana.
Seko Fofana. Continue. No, I like the way Udinese have been being set up as well in this 4-4-2 formation. They've done the 3-5-2 before. They've done the 3-4-3 before. I like this 4-4-2. I think it gives them a lot of balance and it allows them to be dominant and outnumber opposition in most areas of the pitch. Triangles.
Triangles, baby.
Triangles, baby. And the last game that we're going to be mentioning is Cremonese 2, Cagliari 2. Cagliari were down 2-0. It was a Vardy goal and assist. Okay, this is going to be complicated. I don't know why he's attempting it, but...
My back.
I broke my back. But Cremonese Cagliari did find their way back, and it was none other than Yael Treppi who got the equalizer.
Yeah,
Jake,
Treppi for
what the
our goal of the week for Matchday 19.
Yes.
Actually, honorable mention to Cataldi versus Fiorentina and Perrone versus Pisa. But Yael Treppi's goal was excellent. You know, he received this ball over the top. He chested it. He juggled it twice before shooting from out of the box. Now this guy had previously been on fire for Cagliari's Primavera, but because of their injury crisis, he ended up making his way to the bench, and you know they probably thought to themselves, might as well take a punt with this kid, kill it. So it worked out really well. He's scoring goals would have never dreamed that he would have scored. So might as well bring in Yael Treppi, and he did absolutely brilliantly. Yes.
When we were in Sardinia, the store guy mentioned Treppi to us, or did he mention someone else?
It wasn't Treppi.
Someone
It
Scuola
was-
Luvumbo, he called it.
someone-
School where they get players like
yeah, so it
Luvumbo
would
from.
be someone from Angola, but Treppi, I believe, is. Let me just confirm. Just for the
Treppi
yeah, Treppi is from France.
from France.
Yeah.
There you go. But
Treppi.
Troppi. Welcome, Troppi. Yes, so that was match day 19. However, we're here to talk about match day 20. I wish we could cover all the games, but we can't.
Unfortunately not.
Of course, this week there was Inter Napoli, there was Fiorentina, Milan. Bless you, Nick.
God bless you, Nick.
Nick's a bit under the weather today, so Nick, give us a half-assed scream. For those of you that don't know, Lamin Banda is on Nick's Fantacalcio
yeah.
team, and he got my red card this week, so Nick isn't too pleased. But yes, there's Inter Napoli, Fiorentina, Milan, Juve Cremonese, Roma Sassuolo, Como Bologna, Atalanta Torino, Hellas Lazio, Udinese Pisa, Lecce Parma, and Genoa Cagliari. We will be covering them in that order. Before anything, our predictions, brother.
Yeah,
Actually,
you beat me.
I beat you this week. Yes, I got the correct result for Bologna, Como, Udinese, Pisa, Roma, Sassuolo, Atalanta, Torino, Lecce, Parma, Verona, Lazio, and Juve, Cremonese. That's actually, bro.
That's
1,
pretty
2,
good, bro.
3,
You
4,
should have
5, 6,
made
7.
a little slip.
Hey, that's 7 out of 10 for me. I'm used to
Nice.
getting 3. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad as well.
Not
It was
bad,
a
not
highly
bad.
competitive week
Yeah,
for us.
That takes us to a grand total of 3-2.
Jake's still ahead, unfortunately, but I'm coming. These young boys coming. You ever saw that?
No idea what
Alright,
you're
so
on
we'll
about.
swiftly move on to the next one. Our goal of the week. What the hell was our goal of the week? There were like 4 bangers, and I couldn't choose.
So there were we got it down to 4.
yes.
There were many nice goals, but I think the goal of the week contenders would be Nkunku versus Fiorentina.
Yes.
Fofana's pass, I don't know what came over him. He was like, Fofana is a very creative player when he's on form. You remember his first season with Milan when there was Reinders, but Milan didn't really have a
Yes.
defensive midfielder. He was playing defense-splitting balls,
Yes,
right?
and he made up a lot of ground in a double pivot. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
very important
Yeah.
for Milan last season.
So, of course, he has these memeable moments that make him into the scapegoat. Milan always I think every team usually has a scapegoat, but with Milan, it's really obvious. I don't know if it's because I'm totally immersed in the fan base on Twitter, for example, but it was Emerson Royal hard, and then it transitioned into Fofana hard. No one else really gets shit.
They really.
There's Estupinian as well right now. He's getting some shit.
But as he should be, but like you're saying there's always a scapegoat. Yes, I guess there's always a scapegoat in most fan bases.
Yeah.
There always is. I feel like with Milan, because Milan always have so many positions that they need reinforcement for, that they always kind of leave one out. Like
Yeah, fair enough.
you know what
That's
I mean? Like before it
bang
was Calabria and Emerson Royale on the.
I
on the
remember
right.
there was a time where Milan would just never have a left winger.
Never
it was
have a left
always,
winger.
oh, we have Sousa on the right.
And
We
like,
just need a left
the,
winger.
the number 9 curse this entire time. Number 9 was always a scapegoat until Giroud and Zlatan came back. But
Fair.
yeah. So, sorry, we're talking
Sorry,
about goal
yes,
of the week.
it's
How
so
that happened.
Nkunku versus Fiorentina is an honourable shout. Baturina against Bologna is a mental shout as well. What a goal, incredible technique. McTominay's second goal in particular against Inter was absolutely beautiful. The way Noah Lang kept that ball in play.
That's one of those like galactic football goals.
Yeah.
Fucking volley to volley. Beautiful.
Yeah. It reminds me of like, what was it? FIFA Street?
Exactly.
FIFA Street, exactly. And Tramoni against Udinese, a goal quite similar to Baturina's, but he struck it into the roof of the net. It was beautiful. I forgot which one we settled on. Did we settle on Baturina?
We settled on Baturina. The only
Yeah.
thing that makes, because they're, like you said, very similar. Baturina's, I feel like, takes it because of the stage.
Yeah.
Because it was a last-minute equalizer. The game was lit. It was 10-man Bologna leading against Como. Baturina's first goal for the club as well.
His
I thought
second
was, sorry,
this
his
season,
second.
yeah.
So you're right. And it's kind of symbolic because Paz is on his way out,
Yeah.
and Baturina, this young Croatian talent, comes in and scores a Paz-esque goal.
Yeah, hands him the torch.
But I was really impressed by Tramoni. We criticized his physicality and his physicality really since he made the jump from Serie B to Serie A. He's since been finding his feet. He scored a brilliant goal in this game, so he gets all of our flowers as well. But before we get into anything, guys, as always, check out our link in bio. Check out our media partners, Benevo Bid. You can get autographed items from top players, including match issued kits, where most of the proceeds go to charity. You're seeing here a signed Javier Zanetti kit. Check out their socials if you question the authenticity of the signature, and the proof is in the pudding, my friend. So check out our link in bio and send them some love.
That's Benevo Bid.
Thank you, sir. If you're new here, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We do weekly episodes covering every single match, every single team, every single week, and also have bonus episodes by our tactical analyst called Tactics Imperium by Gianluca Lia.
Who did a piece on Napoli Inter?
Yes.
On Inter Napoli, sorry.
Inter Napoli.
Yeah.
You get to see the game from a bit more of a tactical lens. I know a lot of us try to do that online. Gianluca is very well trained at that, and his episodes are really easy to follow, and he does a great job on them, so do go there and show him some love. If you really, really, really love us, you're like, look at these guys. Fucking, I wish them well. Become a patron. It's $3.99 a month. There's inflation. You go buy milk, the price is changing every week. Our Patreon has been $3.99 from day one. You'll be added to a Discord channel with 50 plus like-minded legends with multiple channels for different discussions, and you can even win a free kit if you win our fantasy league. And we are also adding a new segment starting this week, where if you stay till the end of the episode, one of our patrons has dropped us a voice note covering his team for 10 minutes so far this season.
Exactly. This time it's patron Daniel, who will be talking to us about how he thinks Inter's season has gone so far.
I can't wait to hear that, Dan.
We'll be taking as many different people as possible from our Patreon group chat, and of course having them cover different topics. You'll just get a break from our voices and kind of listening to what the community thinks.
And from a fan. And brothers, we've got fans that don't only support Inter, Milan, Juve. You know, we've got some
Parma,
we've got
Lecce,
Parma fans,
Fiorentina,
Lecce fans, Fiorentina
Atalanta.
fans, Atalanta fans. Okay,
Yeah.
you're just leading at this point. Amazing. So do stay tuned till the end of the episode if you want to listen to Dan's thoughts on Inter so far this season.
Yes.
And just additionally this week, because we did get a request from Norbert, patron Norbert, who we love. Unlike Dan, we don't really love Dan. He requested our team of the season so far, which Norbert, fuck you, because I changed it like 20 times. This bloody... He said choose a manager and you have to do it in the formation of the manager. So I kept changing my best manager so far this season, which meant I had to change my fucking team every single time.
I low-key didn't even read that that part, to be honest. I just thought we had to take the formation of the guy who's in first, but we're gonna do this a bit differently later on. We're gonna do it in a draft kind of way. So if I take a player, Matt can't take him. So do stay tuned till the end for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But by the way, Daniel and Norbert, we love you both, obviously.
Daniel. No. Me and Daniel, of course, I'm teasing. We have our back and forths every day.
He's the man.
On the group chat. Daniel, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't give you the time of day, brother. But let's start off with the biggest game of the weekend, which belongs to you, brother.
Yes, indeed. So of course he is talking about Inter against Napoli. This was a massive spectacle. It was a great game, a free-flowing game of football between two heavyweights, and it delivered exactly what was promised, basically. Inter, of course, ended up going ahead twice, and Napoli dragging themselves back, and McTominay ending up being the story of the night. Funnily enough, this was Inter's first draw of the season in Serie.
Yes, it was.
Which is hilarious. I had no idea how all or nothing they were. And I believe 4 losses, is it? So 4 losses, 1 draw, and the rest are all wins.
You are correct.
Yes.
To point that out.
So let's just address the reverse fixture, which ended 3-1 back in October for Napoli. Inter had won 6 in a row. Coming into this one, and they were missing Dumfries, they were missing Darmian, Josep Martinez, and Di Gennaro, while Napoli were missing Neres, Anguissa, Gilmore, De Bruyne, and Lukaku.
McTominay was very kind to remind us at the end of the game.
Yeah. So formations, we had Sommer in goal for Inter, with a backline of Bissek, Akanji, and Bastoni. Henrique was on the right, Di Marco on the left, with Barella, Çalhanoğlu, and Zielinski in the middle, Thuram and Martinez up front. Now, from the get-go, this Inter fans were saying that this is as strong a formation as it gets, pretty much, for Inter at the moment.
For Inter, yes.
Right?
I mean, apart from the Dumfries loss, this is their strongest team.
Yeah. Apart from Dumfries and potentially even Martinez, We'll talk about that later on in goal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
For Napoli, of course, their injuries hit them way harder. They had to adapt. This time, Conte went for what looked like a 3-4-2-1 system, with Milinkovic-Savic in goal, of course, Juan Jesus, Rahmani, and Beukema at the back, with Di Lorenzo on the right, Spinazzola on the left, McTominay and Lobotka forming the double pivot, with Elmas and Politano playing off the shoulders of the running Højlund.
Rasmus.
So Inter broke the deadlock after just 9 minutes. Zielinski robbed McTominay high up the pitch and released Lautaro on the counter. Thuram produced a clever disguised layoff, and Di Marco fired an angled shot in from a very tight position on the left. Just as we said at the beginning of this episode, Di Marco, it doesn't seem to matter how tight the angle is. He's got a protractor. He can score from that angle, man, every time.
He's one of the most accurate left-sided players I've seen. That left foot of his is a laser, bro.
Yeah,
and I've got a few of those players. Super accurate.
He just kissed the post on the way in past Vanya, the giant Vanya. Inter looked sharp and aggressive early on. They were really feeding off the San Siro atmosphere, which was electric. Lautaro did scuff a shot wide after a well-worked move, and Inter were in control. However, Napoli equalized with their first real chance of the match, and this came 26 minutes in. Elmas carried the ball down the left and crossed it into the box, where McTominay attacked the space ahead of Akanji and finished from close range at the near post very instinctively, like a striker.
Yeah.
The goal settled Napoli, and McTominay soon tested Sommer again after winning possession in midfield, and that would bring the end of the first half, remarkably, with only 4 fouls awarded in total for such a heated clash.
And I don't feel like it was a soft game. It was a very physical game, but I just feel like it was allowed to be played as such. That's why I really enjoyed watching this game.
The media is really praising the referee, whose name, yes, exactly, Doveri. They're really praising him for letting the game flow and really encouraging a spectacle to be played. And
I'm not one to remember performances of referees, so I can't tell you
notice
how
game.
good. No, but as in I can't tell you like how good Doveri's
Ah.
been next to Kiffy, for example. I
But
don't like Kiffy. I
There
like.
are some names that you hear surrounding controversy more often.
Yes,
Kiffy,
Kiffy is
Fabry
it's
is
true.
another one. You know what I mean? With Doveri, yeah, it's often good. I think, at least. I don't know, to be honest, right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if, of course, you Google Doveri Zbalio or some shit like Zbalio, whatever. You'll find a mistake. But anyway, moving on to the second half, Napoli nearly turned the game around immediately after the restart. Akanji failed to read a laser beam from Milinkovic-Savic. He was just blasting balls up the pitch with incredible accuracy and the weight he would put on balls. Man, they just like... They'd be flying forward and suddenly they slow down at his teammates' feet, like right in front of Højlund, literally like yo-yoing the ball. It's crazy.
I will never understand how people manage to hit the ball in such a manner, man. To stop the ball exactly where you want it to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so impressive, especially from a goalkeeper, man.
It is. He really can kick a football. Sometimes you look at him and you forget he's so technical, but of course he... I always mention it, but he struck that free kick with Torino and he scored the penalty in the shootout against Cagliari, for example.
Yes, and don't forget it. His brother is Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. They would have been playing in the backyard together.
Exactly, that's a fair point.
Or in the government home, who knows?
Yes, so Højlund sprinted in behind and his angled shot skimmed the far post on its way out. He really bamboozled Akanji over there.
Yes.
Moments later, Di Lorenzo steered the header wide from Spinazzola's cross as Napoli began to impose themselves, and the turning point came when Inter regained momentum through sustained pressure in the Napoli box. Mkhitaryan, who had just come on, battled to keep the ball alive and poked it across to Thuram, who flicked it with his back heel, and Di Marco's shot was blocked by and Bastoni fired the rebound wide. But then VAR intervened. They spotted Rahmani stepping on Mkhitaryan's boot in the build-up play. Inter were awarded a penalty. Conte went mental. Vergogna, he was shouting as he was sent off. The referees are furious with him, apparently, because of his display over there, getting in the official's face and screaming. But of course, he was very emotional, right? He thought, we're going to lose. Seeing Çalhanoğlu stepping up, of course, and he did convert calmly in the 73rd minute. Now, if I counted correctly, it gets you that little map before a player takes a penalty, showing where the previous ones were taken. If I recall correctly, Çalhanoğlu had only shot one of his previous 10 to the right. And he, don't quote me on that though, something like that. He barely ever shoots to the right, he usually goes left. But this season he's been found out a bit, and in fact Manyan did save his penalty. He went right, perfect penalty, hits the post, goes in. Like, even if Vanya had tracked that, I highly doubt he would have saved it. It was a perfect penalty. And you could really see that Çalhanoğlu knew it from his celebration as well.
Yeah.
Napoli, however, refused to fold. With 10 minutes left, Politano's cross drifted beyond McTominay, but Noah Lang kept the ball alive at the byline and hooked it back into the danger area, where, of course, who was there? McTominay. He arrived on cue and he volleyed from 6 yards to make it 2-2. Deep into stoppage time, Inter nearly snatched it. Mkhitaryan struck a deflected effort that crashed against the post after Boni had shoulder barged Politano to the ground, chasing a lovely ball over the top from Sucic. And it was saved by the bar, deflected off Di Lorenzo, but was saved by the bar. And that would be it. That would be the ending of a frantic, chaotic, beautiful evening.
Yes, and a particularly interesting thing is that Inter-Napoli has kind of become a rivalry in a way after what happened last season and the fine margins it went down to. Of course, Napoli winning the league by just a singular point, as Inter have a chip on their shoulders against Napoli, right? Because that was perhaps the most likely trophy that they could have won after being eliminated in the Supercoppa in the semi-final. In the Coppa Italia in the semi-final. They lost the Champions League final, of course.
Yeah.
Outplayed by PSG. The league was like their thing that they were favourites in. Napoli had finished 10th the season before, and then Napoli end up winning it.
And it
from
was
a singular
all
point.
in their hands because they had that Bologna game in hand, and I think they tried to prioritize other competitions, and they ended up eventually losing that one in the
and
wildest
that's
fashion.
Not the first time
Yeah.
Bologna lost in third league. It's actually the
Yeah.
second time. So you could tell that it gets heated between these sides. There's of course the storyline of Conte as well facing his former team. I don't know how much Politano cares that he's facing his former team, but this is as good as a top 2 football match gets in Italy. And again, massive shout out to the referee for letting play go. I feel like it also went the way that we expected it to when it comes to now of course you predicted Napoli win, I predicted an Inter win, so not from a results standpoint, but the way the game was played, we know Inter are going to have more volume and they're going to have more chances. We absolutely know that.
Yeah.
We also know Inter have a high line, and we also know Napoli are playing a system which exposes high lines, especially with a runner in behind like Rasmus Højlund, and especially them playing with essentially 4 wingers in this game as well. So it was a well-balanced game, but styles make matches. And
Absolutely, bro. And you hit the nail on the head, right? I mean, Inter created more than Napoli did, but they paid heavily for the very few chances that they conceded.
yeah,
Napoli were absolutely ruthless, and I think they were, obviously we have to give McTominay his flowers. I mean, what else can you say at this point? But he is as complete a midfielder as it gets nowadays, man, in every phase. I mean, he was playing in a double pivot this game, and he was literally the reference point when it came to certain actions. You know, I mean, granted, Højlund is the reference point going long and trying to use him as an outlet to score, but in these crowded moments in the box where you've got all this movement, McTominay is always there and he's always in the best position, and the ball always seems to go to him.
and he's always expecting it, which is a quality that even some strikers don't have. You often see a striker getting to the ball a second later, striking a second later, something of the sort, because they think the player in front of them is going to get a touch or whatever.
Yeah.
McTominay is there, always ready to pounce on any loose ball, and I feel the need to criticize certain defenders of Inter, because
Yes.
how haven't you gotten the memo?
Yeah.
Mark Scott McTominay. Put a player on Scott McTominay. He's inevitable in that box. The second you see McTominay in the box, he's your first priority.
Yeah, I thought
Star man.
Akanji was a little bit shaky this game, particularly. There was one moment that ball that Vanya played. Granted, it was a lovely ball, but Højlund kind of did this very clever, not weird, decoy run, and then he changed direction to run in behind, and Akanji was tracking him without thinking, if this guy moves by, the ball's coming behind me, but I'm following the man. So he ended up going clean through on goal past him because Akanji totally misread the situation.
That made me feel a bit better about the winter, because that's exactly the exact same thing that happened between Højlund and the winter. It was soft defending by the winter. He should be getting to that, but clearly on the turn,
This wasn't even on the turn. This was even more straightforward than the Winters, to be fair to the Winter. Because the Winter, at least, he got spun by Højlund. This was a long ball, and he prioritized the man over the ball.
Yes. And I think that's a very impressive thing about Højlund, is that he's very fast, and he manages to maintain his physicality and his strength when running that fast. Whereas you see a lot of players, the second that they skip a certain kilometers per hour, they tend to fall over at the slightest of touch. Not Rasmus, he has really good center of gravity during his run, and I think that's what makes him a handful. He's not as physical as Lukaku, but he can fucking hold a player off. It's not easy putting Højlund against Bastoni, Akanji and Bissek.
Yeah, and
very physical defenders,
he
man.
messed them up. I mean, he was causing all sorts of problems over there. And it wasn't even the highest line in the world by Kivu, but he managed to exploit it. At times it was very high, don't get me wrong. But
it was high, it was high. But I think Højlund is the solution up top for Napoli. I think, Lukaku is his injury has been, I don't know if it got worse or it's just delayed. He should be back by now, Lukaku.
I'm not sure what the update is on Lukaku, but the fact that
I wouldn't
they
be worried.
brought in, yes, if I were a Napoli fan, I wouldn't be worried either. However, if Lukaku doesn't come back and they do send Luka off to to, I believe it's with Mourinho. Who's the team? Benfica.
Benfica.
Yeah, apparently Luka might go to Benfica. They'd have one striker, right? Granted, okay, they can play with an atypical striker with Neres and whatever.
But they shouldn't be doing that. They should absolutely keep Luka.
Yes, I think so.
Use him for what he is.
Yeah. From Inter, I think we need to highlight Di Marco, of course, this season. So, do you think that Inzaghi was right to kind of take Di Marco out in the 60th minute, 70th minute, every single game last season?
So, this confuses me, because either Inzaghi was wrong, or whatever team Kivu brought in to get his players' physicality pinpoint, it worked. And I think
he does look fitter, doesn't he?
And Inter look fitter.
Yeah.
Inter look fitter.
Yeah.
There were times where Lautaro didn't look fit last season. There were times where a lot of the players didn't look fit, where I was talking about how Barella, his knees might be gone, because I hadn't seen him play with the intensity Barella's used to playing for an entire season last season. But there's almost this revitalization, and Di Marco's the one I notice it most in. He's tireless.
Yeah.
He's tireless, and he goes on for 90 minutes. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, whatever. But clearly Inzaghi didn't manage to unlock the same Di Marco that Kivu has unlocked. Not from an output perspective and performance perspective, but from a fitness standpoint, that you don't have to take out your strongest asset. In my opinion, Di Marco is Inter's strongest asset. He's inevitable. Di Marco's completely inevitable. Last season we were talking about how he should start some games, but what's his fucking face should start some other games. Carlos Augusto. No, if Di Marco's fit, he starts every single game.
It's true.
Now you see it under Kivu.
That left foot is
He
magical.
starts. He's the first name on the team sheet.
And I do think that maybe Kivu's team has conditioned the players better, to better quality.
You're okay.
Yeah, first had a mean burp in there.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, they definitely look fitter, and he is more comfortable to rotate and to try new players out. Inzaghi, one of the main criticisms of him is that he had his 11 and he liked them, right? He would stick to them, he relied on them, exactly. Lautaro has failed to get on the score sheet in nine successive outings against Napoli now. It has also been a year and a half since Lautaro scored against either Juventus or Milan. And it's also worth noting that he didn't score against Roma this season. Should we be concerned about Lautaro in big games? If he were on Football Manager, would your scout tell you doesn't enjoy big matches?
So, this is a recent thing in Lautaro, because Lautaro used to adore a goal in the Derby della Madonnina, for example, in that famous 3-0 victory in the Supercoppa final when Inter were spanking Milan every game. It was never Lautaro goal. So this is a recent thing. And it's funny because Lautaro, in that sense, is completely on par with Inter. Inter aren't beating the bigger teams. Lautaro isn't scoring against the bigger teams. Inter are beating the smaller teams, 10 wins in their 10 matches against smaller teams. Lautaro scoring essentially 10 goals.
Very good point.
in those
might
games.
Be an Inter problem.
So it might be an Inter problem, or it might be Inter need that something extra from Lautaro in these bigger games.
I do think they need him to shoulder the responsibility more. And I do think in a game like this, for example, where Lautaro isn't showing up, then Kivu needs to have the balls. And you have two players, man, who when they came on, they were causing all sorts of problems.
Bonnie came
on.
In the 87th minute. Inter improved with Bonnie.
Yes, they created a lot of problems. And even Pio Esposito's hold-up play there was a point when there was a long ball over the top. Pio held the ball up well and laid it off to Sucic, who played a ball over the top to Bonnie to run in behind. And that was just a magnificent bit of play. And to be honest, I kind of wanted to see more of that. I think he's stuck with Thuram and Lautaro for too long this game.
I think to be fair to Lautaro, I think Lautaro plays a really important role as like that false line or deep lying forward alongside a target man. I think he does a lot of work that is underappreciated, certainly not by Inter fans, but maybe by Juve, Milan, Napoli fans and the like. So I think it's important to have captain Lautaro Martinez, the fourth ever leading goal scorer in Inter's history. If you have him, you play him. But like you said, maybe having the balls to make that call a bit quicker. Like, look, let's bring in Bonnie. When he came in, instantly he out-muscled someone. I forgot which was.
Politano, I think he shoulder barged him to the ground.
To the fucking ground. And it's like, this is a heated game.
Yeah.
I wish this lasted for a little longer.
I think the situation with Lautaro as well is that if he doesn't get the service he needs, he struggles to create his own opportunities. Like, we praised him last week because when a cross comes in, he's so dominant.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good at, like, in the air especially, his instinct is top tier. However, if you're giving him the ball outside the area and kind of like the defenders are deep and he's trying a shot, he's been a bit wayward this season, I think, especially in these big moments. They tend to go to the keeper and to the keeper's hands.
I feel like Lautaro also set a standard 2 seasons ago when he scored a ridiculous amount of goals and he hasn't been able to get back there. But in reality, Lautaro was never a capocannoniere. You know what I mean? There was one season in his, 6 years at Inter, he was capocannoniere, and it was 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago.
Fair point as well. Yeah. I don't know if you have any observations that you would like to add about this game.
No, I think what McTominay said at the end of the game rings absolutely true. I think with the amount of absentees that they had in this game, with De Bruyne, Lukaku, Gilmour, Anguissa, Neres out, and Inter being full squad, I think it's fucking impressive. What Napoli as a team are able to do. Okay, they have the depth and Conte focused on depth in the market. But still, you've got Elmas and Politano playing behind Højlund. You know what I mean? These 3 in no parallel universe do they play together.
Yeah.
Whereas Inter are a well-drilled starting 11 with only 1 absentee in this game. Otherwise, it's fully familiar.
Yeah.
So to be that disruptive, to be that chaotic, and to be that effective with such a thin starting 11, I think it shows a lot about the culture that Conte has created with every single individual. And then McTominay is just, he's the best, not the best player in the world, you know what I mean? But he is the man. He is Freddie Mercury, bro. He's Freddie Mercury. You put him in front of fucking 80,000 and he nails it.
Yeah. Do you think
Freddie Mercury?
Do you think in 20 years will be, not even 20 years, in the future we'll be seeing people from Naples? They'll be like, what's your name? Scott.
Yes,
for
sure. It's Napoli.
Victor.
Victor, Kvicha,
Diego. Kvicha, Victor and Scott. Absolutely
name
brilliant.
My fucking son Diego, huh?
Yeah, it was a nice name.
It was a nice name. Shout out to Diego.
I almost forgot to give Lobotka his flowers.
You mean Iniesta? You mean Busquets and Iniesta if they had a love child? Literally.
There was one point he almost lost the ball.
Like when he started breakdancing,
I couldn't believe he held on to that. And not only did he hold on to it, he played a through ball.
Yeah,
Just square into the box.
Busquets and Hazard if they had a baby. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately he got the physicality of Hazard.
No. Best number six in the league for a few years now. Now there's Modric, which creates a debate over there, but Lobotka is... I remember when people used to mention his name in the same breath as, who was that other Napoli midfielder? They kind of entered Napoli at the same time, and they used to play them both in rotation. God, this is gonna kill me, man. This is gonna fucking kill me.
Surely not Gilmour, right?
No.
This was earlier.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's gone. I have no idea where he is now. This guy really average player.
Average player.
Continue. I'll find out.
I'm just going to give you the standings.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
we'll jump to my game now. It'll come to me.
So this draw keeps Inter at the top, but still 3 points clear of Milan, of course, because it's Milan. Just keep
fucking themselves.
Keep giving 1 point to everyone. 1 point to you, Genoa. 1 point to you, Fiorentina. 1 point to everyone. Yay!
Ellen.
Napoli are in 4th with 39 points, tied with Juve. However, Napoli do have a game in hand.
Yes, sir. Next game we're going to be covering Fiorentina 1, Milan 1. In Fiorentina's last 5 matches, they have won 2, drew 2, and lost 1. So clearly they're on a better run of form now. Most recently, of course, they drew to Lazio. Here they missed Lamptey, Dzeko and Sabiri.
But Lamptey was out.
But I really noticed. Milan have still only lost their opening match to Cremonese. However, they have now racked up 7 draws in 19 matches. They only missed Jimenez through injury, but the rotation was significant. The previous encounter between these two sides was a narrow 2-1 victory for Milan. I believe it was a Leao penalty late on, around the 86th, 87th minute, that had gotten them that win. 4-3-3 for Fiorentina, David De Gea and goal, backline of Gosens, Pongracic, Comuzzo and Dodò. Midfield three of Ndour, Fagioli and Mandragora with Goodmanson on the left, Parisi on the right and Moise Kean up front. 3-5-2 for Milan with Mike Maignan in goal, backline of De Winter, Gabbia and Pavlovic. Salemakers on the right, Estupireiri on the left with a midfield three of Yashari, Ricci and Ruben Loftus-Cheek with Pulisic and Füllkrug up front. So a lot of rotation here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that don't typically starting in this game. Now, Fiorentina did start brighter in the opening moments of the match. Gosens fired over early, Goodmanson was dangerous between the lines, and Milan looked a bit sluggish with all the rotation. But then, unfortunately, came the Pulisic show. And I say, unfortunately, for the first time ever. Because between minutes 18 and 26, he missed chance after chance, notably 3 chances. The 2 that stood out to me, though, was the one-on-one after a brilliant hold-up play from Füllkrug, where he rounded De Gea and hit the side netting. And then another clear-cut chance, once again due to a clever Füllkrug flick, where he dragged the shot wide. And another time where he shot it essentially straight at David De Gea.
Yeah.
Füllkrug was putting him on a plate, and unfortunately Pulisic just couldn't get into the game. For some reason, he looked in his head. I don't know, it's because of the previous encounters against Fiorentina last season where the penalty got nicked from him. He never really had a great match against Fiorentina. I don't know, but something like that.
I think it was as simple as the first one didn't go well. So in the second one, I believe it was he tried to round the keeper in the second one, right?
Yep.
So he was like, listen, he saved my first one, let me try go round him. De Gea didn't commit, I ended up missing that one by the time he got to the third chance.
I'm just going to hit it and he hit it wide.
Exactly. He's I'm going to try place it as far away from De Gea as possible because he's saving everything with his legs.
Yeah, he had a bad day at the office, and the shit thing about his job is that it's televised to millions. Well, it's Serie A, so to be honest... Not really. TV rights and all, obviously. Milan should have been ahead, but they weren't. And then the second half, the rhythm changed completely because if you miss chances, and then obviously you're going to concede chances and you can't concede goals. Fiorentina became a lot more aggressive. Milan were less convincing. Allegri made some changes. He threw on Rabiot, Leao, Bartesaghi, then Fofana. But in the 66th minute, there was a corner from Goodmanson. Milan defended zonally, and Comuzzo was allowed a free glancing header that bounced in off the far post. 1-0 to Fiorentina, deserved based on the second half. Moments later, Comuzzo clashed heads with Pavlovic, sending the Serbian defender off injured. Nkunku came on as a replacement. And then the 90th minute, Salemaker nicked the ball. Fofana slipped a perfectly weighted through ball and Nkunku beat the offside trap before smashing a right-footed scorcher into the near post in off the bar. Brilliant finish by Nkunku. Really, really good to see. Especially
we used to call that one a thunder cunt back in the day.
Thunder cunt. Literally thunder cunt from Thunder Thighs himself. And then the closing moments of the match, you know, it being Milan, was completely chaotic. 96th minute, Brescianini on his Viola debut, by the way. Perfect signing for exactly what they need, a goal-scoring midfielder. Well, not one of the players that they need, because they also need a ball winner.
They need a ball winner very badly.
Yeah. They essentially bought someone, Mandragora and Brescianini, they can kind of...
he's a former Milan player.
Brescianini's top.
Brescianini was in Milan's youth academy.
I forgot what team it was who prioritized Brescianini and up with someone else. It'll come to me. Everything will come to me.
Everything will come at the end. Stay tuned till the end where Matthew remembers everything.
The only one that's gonna come is Nick. Congrats, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for coming.
Ball on the plate for Brescianini, 6 yards out. It was one of those, though, you have to react quick. Yeah. He reacted quick and the ball hit the crossbar, bounced off the line. and went out. It was absolutely insane. And then seconds later, in the same attack, Keane was played through. Mike the Eagle Manyan comes out and stops him 1-on-1. Full time, 1 point each, and neither of the teams satisfied.
All right, no. Shall we get the show on the road, bro?
Let's get this show on the road. What do you want to say?
The goal Milan conceded. Talk to me about it, your opinion.
I thought he was completely alone. Comuzzo.
Where was he?
He was at the front post, no? Because it was a glancing header backwards.
He was bang in the middle of the...
Yes, he was between the goalkeeper and the defender.
Exactly. In my opinion, way too close to the keeper for the keeper to move back, not even forward, back. This is what I mean. Like, I love Manyan, and
No,
I hope
you
everything.
don't.
And yes, I do. I think Manyan is a good keeper, and I wish that Milan can hold on to him. However, I don't think his salary demands are fair. Once again, and he keeps showing these faults in his game. I mean, that was his zone at the end of the day. Granted, Bartezaghi should have been marking him, etc. But in that area, the keeper has an advantage of reach. Come out, claim it, own your box, protect your area.
But you saw it, right? It was quite a fast hit corner. And it was to the near post where everything happened in a split second. I would more expect that the defender would stick with Comuzzo, who's an aerial threat, than expect the keeper to read that situation that quickly. In an ideal world, yes, but if it's a floated or whipped cross, sure. But this was almost drilled in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's realistic to expect Manyan. If you got a graph in front of me and showed me where the ball landed, where the defender was and where the keeper was, I'd say probably the keeper should get
the
to that.
keeper's area.
But I think it's unrealistic to expect him to react that quickly, especially he's got players on him, he's pushing people back, he's organizing the box. You know, I think
but
it's
was
harsh.
he? Because had he been doing that, that area is protected. You know, I don't know.
Sure, it's harsh. That's not why
is.
Milan lost the game.
No, it's not. It's not. And to be fair, I think Milan were set up for success over here. I think, considering Estupinian's brain farts randomly trying to control a ball with his back heel and flying and heading the ball across the box to Manyan dangerously and miscontrolling balls. I think that Milan created enough opportunities to actually win this game. It's just one of those unlucky games. You concede off a set piece and you miss a bunch of chances.
That's it, because I've been watching a lot of content when it comes to this game in particular, and it feels like obviously as fans they want to place the blame somewhere. It's Allegri with too much rotation. It's Estupinian. It's Bartezaghi. It's Manyan. In reality, as much as it pains me to say, Milan missed 3 sitters and Pulisic missed 3 sitters. The way the team was set up, they're set up to create those chances. If Pulisic was a bit sharper on his day, he would have put those chances away. It would have been 2-0 by halftime, 3-0 by halftime, whatever. Classic Allegri where you shut up shop in the second half, and it would have been 3 points. We can criticize Yashari, who didn't have the best game. Just coming back from injury, yes, but 38 million, whatever. Ricci should have had a better game. Loftus-Cheek shouldn't be starting. Estupinian, whatever. But they, in the first half, they controlled the game. The game was going, like you said, Milan were set up for success. They had chance after chance after chance. Allegri sides never play insane football like they're in full control. I've hardly watched Milan this season and thought, wow, they're in full control. I wouldn't feel threatened by the chances being created.
Exactly, that's because they're in full control of the game, not of the possession.
Exactly, precisely.
Playing Ricci and Yashari and then trying to balance it out by putting the titan that is Ruben Loftus-Cheek only for him to literally demonstrate that he's a string bean, bro. He is... Honestly, I don't know what was wrong with him.
What do you mean string bean?
He didn't win any duels, man. I don't know. Let me check the stats to see if I'm tripping or not. Look at this, bro. Aerial duels 3, 1-0. Ground duels 5, 1-1. He's meant to be the disruptor in this midfield. I found that really bizarre. I don't know if maybe...
I don't think he's meant to be the disruptor. I think the disruptor is more meant to be Yashari and Richie's deeper, right? I think Richie was playing the deepest.
Yeah, but for example,
I think Ruben was the attacking outlet in this.
Game. Richie had the same amount of duels on the ground and actually won one more than Loftus-Cheek, and he only had one aerial duel. So when it comes to the midfielders who had the most duels, it was Loftus-Cheek. Yashari as well had quite a few actually on the ground, 6, and he won half of them, which was fair enough, but Loftus-Cheek, you'd expect him to do much better, even simply when a cross is coming in over the top. You have Loftus-Cheek charging, he's got the size advantage, and he doesn't even get anywhere near the ball. I don't know, he doesn't use his body well.
But this for me is why, and we disagreed on this, I think. This for me is why you don't rotate your full midfield. You have to rotate, in my opinion, again, bit by bit. So if you have 2 games in a week, you know from the first game you're playing. It's not like it dawned upon you, it's a surprise and whatever. So rotate 1 midfielder in 1 game and 1 wing back in 1 game. Rotate 1 winger and 1 wing back in the other game. It doesn't need to be, you know what, we're playing Fiorentina. We played our full team against Genoa. Now we're going against Fiorentina with 3 midfielders from Modric, Rabiot and Fofana to 3 completely new midfielders, and to make matters worse, the player on the left-hand side as well, Bartazaghi, who has that work rate, the defensive and offensive capabilities. We're changing with a stupid area. And okay, Fulkrug started as well, and I thought he was the brightest part of Milan's game.
I liked his performance.
He really displayed it. It made me reminisce. It made me reminisce on Giroud.
Yeah.
That those flick-ons. That
3 clear chances.
Three.
Three, literally. That's quite impressive. The back heel one was mental.
He would have had all those assists.
Yeah.
But
he misplaced a few passes, granted, but that's his growing pains. And apparently he's broken his toe, by the way, so we'll see what happens over there. But I am not too bothered by the rotation, because the whole point of the way this team was set up was to keep it small. There are fewer competitions than the opponents, no Europe, whatever. If you look at the bench, there aren't many people on the bench, and the only player that's out is Jimenez. Apart from the players that came on, the only ones available are Toriani, Dutu, Odogu, Atakame, and Modric. Those are the only people who didn't come on. Modric is 40, so you get it. He's actually played a lot more than I anticipated he would. But when it comes to rotation, I don't think that I didn't see a massive problem with it. And to be honest with you, bro, once again, I thought that Milan were the better side, especially in the first half. They should have put the game to bed. So they were set up well. I can't understand the Allegri criticism that there is.
But the game got away from them, and funnily, it got away from them around the period of the substitutions, which is almost contrary to what I'm saying. It was all quite odd, but it all stems down to, look, Milan didn't take their chances, and they got bit in the ass by a set-piece routine, and at least Fiorentina have that in their locker. We always say this about relegation-threatened teams, the smaller teams, etc. With a bit of luck on their side, if they've got set pieces at their arsenal, they can make a huge difference. And over there, you see it. I mean, Comuzzo was such a towering figure in a very big physical against a very big physical Allegri team. So Fiorentina utilized what they can. I think for Milan, a 4-3-3 formation is incoming. I've been hearing whispers about it, and look, I don't think Allegri is gonna drop either of Pulisic or Leao. You can't, because those are Milan's 2 best offensive outlets. You can't drop either of them, and he won't move away from a midfield 3. He can't play Modric in a double pivot, even if he's paired with Rabiot. I think a midfield 3 is Allegri. I see him changing away from a 3 at the back. I think he can do it.
I think he wants to be honest.
I think he wants to, and I think if he plays, for example, if he starts the Winter can slot into right back. If he plays Tomori can slot into right back, for example. So it can be this
I think the only thing that's stopping him, and to be honest, these past few weeks for Milan have reinforced that, is that he doesn't quite trust the centre-backs to play as 2.
Oh my God, and we'll lose Salamakers unless you play him right back.
Unless you play him or right wing. Because Leao, bro, let's be real, Leao isn't himself. There was a point where he had the opportunity to break, bro. He was on the right this time. He just couldn't. He just didn't. He refused to hit that full speed that he normally hits. He's not sprinting, man.
There are whispers that
That
He
he has
can't
some
due to his
chronic,
injury.
some
It's chronic.
chronic pain. I don't know. We'll
Some
see how this
chronic pain
develops.
which stops him from going at his 100% pace.
We'll see. This is
essentially.
what the Italian
Um,
newspapers are
but
saying. So take it with a
Allegri-
pinch of salt.
Allegri said at a point in the presser, he said, "I wish Leao would have positioned himself better at the end of the game and hugged the line a bit more, stayed out wide a bit more," which is contrary to what he's asked from Leao, which is to stay more centrally and become a bit more of a goal threat. So it is like he wants to play him on the left, which is making
But
me
that's
think
the
that
advantage
there might be a
of
4-3-3.
having versatile players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For Fiorentina, once again, they didn't win from a winning position. However, it was a much more positive performance from them. Good to see Comuzzo getting a goal and also absolutely flooring the fuck out of Pavlovic, who's a towering figure. Comuzzo's a guy that has struggled with confidence recently after being given the full faith by Palladino last season.
And then being dropped for Pablo Mari, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And for Pongracic. I thought the signing of Brescianini was a good one. I still think they need another signing in midfield and maybe even in defence. But good result overall for Fiorentina.
We have a question from Matthias, who, by the way, last time had a realization, bro. That's a U in his name. Is his name Matush? Matthias, is your name Matush? Have we been calling
I
you?
worked
Have
with a
we been
Matush at
calling
the
you
Radisson.
Matthias for
Where is the U in his
years?
name? What do you mean, man? Where's the U in his
instead
name?
of the I in Matthias?
Maybe it's Mataus.
Something like that. We're gonna find out, no? Let us know, Matthias
Let us-
slash
let us
Mataus
know.
slash Matush.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
Let
Let us
us
know,
know.
Matt. He raised a very interesting question about this game. Actually, he's like, who would you rather have in your team at the moment, Fagioli or Ricci? And who's better, actually, Fagioli or Ricci?
Ooh. Great question.
Fagioli's been improving,
Fagioli
and
has
lately
been
he's
improving.
on the up.
Mhm.
While Ricci, I think, in his career,
94th minute yellow card is interesting. No.
Ricci at this point in his career has kind of like, I don't want to say declined, but he's a bit rusty compared to what he was. He was a Serie A regular at Torino, and I would have said I would have easily picked Ricci. But based on current performances, it's not as easy.
Because I feel like the way he's being treated is almost like he needs to take 2 steps back to go 3 steps forward, Ricci. It's almost like breaking down the kind of football he used to play to make him into a different player, going more box to box rather than that deep-lying midfielder. Whereas I think Fagioli does both pretty well. I think he's good closer to goal. I think he has very good technique with the ball at his feet. I think they serve different purposes. I like Ricci a lot.
But the way Fagioli's been deployed is the way Ricci was traditionally employed.
Yes,
at Torino,
as a
right?
deep lying.
Yeah.
But I remember Matt Juve, who was more of an offensive outfit,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I
More
remember
offensive.
that. For me,
Right now, I have to say Fagioli.
Yes.
Right now.
same. But I do believe in Ricci.
And he's very technical. Fagioli he can hit free kicks as well.
Yeah.
But I rate Ricci. I'm a big fan of
Fair.
Ricci. Milan in second on 40 points. Still, even though they dropped those points, they were lucky. Of course, there was that big encounter between Inter and Napoli, so they are just 3 points behind Inter, and they maintain being 1 point ahead of Juve and Napoli. Of course, Milan. Of course, Juve have 1 game over Milan, Inter, and Napoli. Fiorentina still find themselves in 18th place, 3 points behind Lecce, who have a game in hand. These game in hands are soon over, guys.
They are.
Next week.
Yes. Oh,
this
how
week.
I gasped when Dodo chopped
This week.
inside.
Sorry.
No problem.
What did you say?
Oh, how I gasped when Dodo chopped inside. he was like Roberto Carlos, man. He was really good. Juve 5, Cremonese 0 on a Monday night. I was not ready. I was not ready for such public humiliation to be displayed on my television. This was a statement victory, and it felt like it was more than 3 points, to be honest with you. They absolutely smashed Cremonese, dominating them from the opening phase, and they never stopped. You'd think when they were 3-0 up at halftime to take their foot off the gas. Nope, they kept going, and they could have scored more, to be honest. And this is, I think, their most convincing victory of the season. Of course, they had drawn in Cremona on Spalletti's debut in November, 1-1. So this time there was absolutely no room for any doubt. Now, let's look at how they lined up. We had Di Gregorio on goal for Juventus in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Kalulu on the right. We'll talk about Kalulu very soon. Cambiaso on the left, Bremer and Kelly as the centre backs, with Locatelli and Thuram forming the double pivot, McKennie on the right, Yildiz on the left, and Miretti playing behind Jonathan David. Interesting to see McKennie occupying the wide role. For Cremonese, it was a 3-5-2 formation with Emil Audero in goal, who actually had a good game despite conceding 5. Weird to say. Bianchetti, Bascherotto and Terracciano were at the back with Petzella and Zerbin on the flanks. Jonsson, Grassi and Bondo in the middle with Bonazzoli and Vardy up front.
Interesting to see Jonsson.
Yes, in there, right? So Juve set the tone immediately. They were pressing and forcing Cremonese into rush decisions. David nearly opened the scoring after 6 minutes when he intercepted a poor back pass, but Emil Audero forced him wide and watched the finish strike the post. At the other end, Cambiaso was briefly caught out by a weak pass of his own, classic, but Di Gregorio reacted quickly to smother the danger. The warning signs were clear. Juve were faster, they were sharper, and they were more aggressive in between the lines from the very get-go. And the opener arrived in bizarre fashion. This was actually a hilarious goal. If there was a funny goal of the week, this would be it. A cleared free kick fell to Fabio Miretti on the edge of the box, whose volley struck Bremer in the head and completely wrong-footed out there on its way in. This didn't stop Bremer from putting the ball underneath his shirt and sucking his finger, celebrating. I assume he's had a baby, or I assume he got a concussion and didn't know what he was doing.
Imagine he's not having a baby. Brilliant.
3 minutes later, Juve doubled their lead with a devastating counter. Thuram surged forward from deep and released David down the left, who took one touch and swept his finish past the onrushing goalkeeper. Cremonese attempted to respond, but were repeatedly exposed when Juve broke the line of pressure. Cremonese were given a penalty after this when Dennis Jonsson went down under pressure from Locatelli, but VAR overturned the decision after showing the Juve midfielder had won the ball cleanly.
Yeah.
This reversal infuriated Davide Nicola, who was sent off for dissent. I believe that's the third manager sent off from... So Conte was sent off.
Allegri was sent off as well. No, I saw him doing the walk of shame.
Was he sent off, Allegri?
I don't know. I saw him. No, he walked straight down.
No,
the
Vanoli was sent off.
Vanoli was sent off.
So
Vanoli,
every game so far, a manager has been sent off. Classic. Bad advert for Serie A.
Ooh. Passion in the Italian league.
Nicola was sent off. The situation worsened moments later when Juve were awarded a penalty of their own after a deflected Thuram shot ricocheted onto Bascherotto's raised arm. Yildiz struck from the spot, but the goalkeeper saved it onto the post, but he reacted the quickest to make it 3-0, and that was halftime.
Yeah, so that was Yildiz scoring and getting me a 7 anyway. I hate it when players score a rebound for a penalty and they're on my Fanta.
Yeah, it's
God.
terrible. Juve showed no interest in managing the score. 3 minutes after the restart, Miretti slipped a perfectly weighted through ball to Weston McKennie. The American dribbled round Audero and forced Filippo Terracciano into an own goal as he tried to clear off the line. If you have Terracciano on Fanta, I'm so sorry. That must be so frustrating because it was his own teammate who cleared it onto Terracciano and it ended up in the back of the net.
This guy.
Cremonese barely had time to regroup before Juventus struck again. Kalulu delivered a precise cross from the right and McKennie guided a header into the far corner. And then Juve continued to push with Yildiz and David both going close again, and Di Gregorio preserving a clean sheet with a superb one-handed save on Grassi.
Really good save.
Yes.
Really good save.
Juve have collected 24 points from 11 Serie A matches since Spalletti's arrival, second only to Inter in that period. They're good, huh?
They're good, huh? They're good, huh, Juve? Anyway, no, it's clear the improvements to see, and we said, funnily enough, that the draw against Lecce was football-wise one of Juve's better performances, and you see from then they've only they've won 8-0 in their last 2 games. They haven't conceded, so they're maintaining that Juve identity of not conceding many goals, and they just put 5 past Cremonese, and Cremonese have been a very awkward side to play against. So something has clicked in these last 3 games, and I'll include the Lecce game in that as well, but something has clicked. David now has 2 goals in 2 games. Happy for him. And Yildiz, I mean, utilizing who in the right mind, because this is what makes a good manager. A good manager is playing the right players in the right position to suit your system and to empower players in their best roles, right? Who would have thought, with the reinforcements that Juve have brought in, with the Zegrovas, with the Chico Conceiçãos, etc., that Cope Miners, that it'd be Miretti behind the striker, McKennie out on the right, man.
So you know what it is, man, that I believe is happening right now with Juve. The biggest difference we're seeing when you watch Juve, they don't do the predictable. When you watch football for a long time, you kind of expect where the ball is going to go.
Yeah,
movement becomes repetitive, right? With Juve, it's almost like they play the pass that you wouldn't expect by baiting the opposition into pressing the wrong man, the decoy.
Yeah.
And they play an advanced pass instead. In fact, you see Spalletti losing his mind sometimes when they pass the ball back. Like, they literally want to bait the opponent into pressing a decoy so they can advance. And they do this thing. It's almost like a 1-2. They use players to just bounce the ball off.
Yeah.
And it's getting them so much success, and they're doing it non-stop now. You watch Juve, it's just that. It's just players literally receiving the ball and just bouncing it back into
just
the path
creating
of another
that
player.
split second of space by
like
doing
literally
that.
operating through the channels. And Spalletti did say that, like, he doesn't really believe in systems anymore because it's all about pressing and occupying channels and depending on how your opponent's going to play. And because most teams go man-to-man, this decoy system works, but your players need to be intelligent. And I do believe that McKennie and Miretti would be the type to follow instructions to a T.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah.
I don't say Zegrova and Chico Conceição are the type of players that typically they wouldn't be in a system. They're those inventive kind of players. They're like Leao in that sense. You're not gonna ask them to track back.
They cause chaos. Literally.
Exactly. But this isn't this what a good manager brings you? And this is the adaptive nature of Spalletti, where it's not. You know, he came in, he stuck with the 3 at the back formation until the team properly gelled, until the players that he preferred kind of gelled together, then just made a tweak to the formation, and you can see now, since they moved to the 4-2-3-1 to the 4-3-3, they're kind of exploding and they're playing their best football. So he came in a moment where Juve were incredibly unsettled, and he steadied the ship, and now they're doing what Napoli were doing years ago. 2 years ago, and this kind of performance, it just makes you think, hey, how far can Juve go with Spalletti? They have the majority of the season, more than half of the season, with Spalletti. The last time this guy was in Serie A, he won it by a landslide.
Second in the
Napoli.
form table. Second in the table, not even form. Second in the table since Spalletti has arrived.
So
they're definitely on the up, and they're definitely contenders. Don't let people. Don't let yourselves be fooled. And Cremonese are an extremely organised side and a tough side to play, and so are Sassuolo. Man, they've given many teams problems, and they smashed them not even last weekend, a few days ago.
And how rapid are they on the counter?
They're fast, man. They're
very fast on the counter.
Move so quickly.
And they were so slow and so not direct, and now they're so fast and so direct. It's crazy, the difference.
Yeah, it's incredible, to be honest. I think this is appointing Spalletti is the smartest thing they've done in a while as a club. Juve have scored 5 goals in Serie A for the first time since February 2018 when they smashed Sassuolo 7-0.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
That game had an Alexandro goal, a Khedira goal, a Pjanic goal, and a Higuain hat-trick.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. I mean, McKennie, great. Miretti, absolutely central to everything. He influenced 4 of the 5 goals. I thought his performance was out of this world, and he's really riding this wave and improving as a player. Now.
He has a great YouTube channel as well, Miretti.
He looks like, what's his name, right?
Luca.
Luca. Luca's great.
Shout out.
Love that guy.
Insane ball knowledge.
Yeah, he's the type of guy who would sit at a table and he'd have like a whole panel of Premier League fans to debate him. That like the Premier League's all-time 11 is better than Serie A's all-time 11. They sit in front of him and he absolutely destroys them. It'd be like Ballon d'Or 20 2019. Like, he'll just start naming like the Ballon d'Or winners, like one after the other, and the leagues. His knowledge is incredible.
No,
he remembers
he's
everything.
and he's
Yeah.
like, I remember when I used to watch him initially through his Juve content, and I'd remember he'd always say, "Oh, this player should have been called up for Italy. This player," and I'm like, God, these are all Juve players. So I was like, this guy kind of thing. But then I saw him do content representing Serie A, and now I'm just in. I admire him a lot, the knowledge that he has, and how he's capable of debating. You see the Prem heads in this particular video, they're getting worked up because they know they're losing, and they're making bullshit statements. What they said, Ashley Cole over was it Roberto Carlos? I think it was like some no, over Zanetti. Over Zanetti. I forgot Ashley Cole can play on either side, and he can play in the center of midfield as well. Yeah,
bro, they don't even breathe the same air.
Literally.
This was as convincing as it gets for Juve. I think it's quite straightforward. I'm excited to see more of them, and I'm excited to see how they respond to a big game. Let's see when
we need one.
Yeah,
we need one.
There we go, bro. The gift that keeps on giving. Now they play Cagliari, they play Benfica, so it's Spalletti against Mourinho in the Champions League. Let's reignite that beef. We already saw Conte against Mourinho, and then they play Napoli.
Fuck yes, dude.
Incredible.
Serie A.
Yes. As for Cremonese, I mean, we do think here that they're one of the most organized teams in the league, but they simply couldn't cope. They couldn't cope, and they got absolutely ripped to shreds.
They played Juve at the worst time.
Yeah. And Audero was literally the only player worth mentioning.
Just to say on the penalty that Baschirotto gave away, it's interesting to see the adaptation of the new rule, which is if it comes off your body and then hits your arm, then
because his arm was quite.
But his arm was
was
high. I mean, when you slide, your arm goes up, kind of thing. He was really unlucky for the ball to ricochet off his foot and into his hand.
Another thing, by the way, that I forgot to mention. Speaking of arms flailing. There was a point, man. I don't know if it was during the goal of Fiorentina. I can't remember when, but at a point a cross came in for Fiorentina, and it got a slow-mo of the action. You see a Stupinian in the air like this, with his arms extended up in the. What are composure 4?
Composure 4, fucking brain 1, man.
But anyway,
jeez.
Standings, we have Juve, of course, in third with 39 points, while Cremonese are 13th with 22 points.
It's like who was a wrench man marking Svillar, defending a corner. Speaking of, Roma 2 Sassuolo 0.
Wicked transition.
Thank you. What would have been a better transition is that Juve have momentarily overtaken Roma, of course. Do they have a game in hand? Can you
Juve
pull out the
Roma? Napoli have a game in hand. Roma do not.
So Juve have officially jumped Roma into the top 4 position. Currently finding
as in they're tied on points, but they're above them.
Yes. Anyway, Roma 2 Sassuolo 0. Roma have racked up a few losses recently, including the game against Napoli, Cagliari and Atalanta, but are now on 2 wins in a row, looking to rebuild stability. Here they miss Pellegrini, Bailey, Baldanzi, Gollini, Cristante, Dovbyk and Wesley. Sassuolo are winless in their last 6 matches in a notably difficult spell. They only lost to Juve throughout this spell, however. Here they missed Pieragnolo, Berardi, Bolocca, Romagna, Tordsvet, Volpato and Kande. A previous encounter between these two sides was a narrow 1-0 victory for Roma. 3-4-1-2 formation for them, with Miles Villar in goal, back of Hermoso, Mancini and Ghilardi. Tsimikas on the left, Celik on the right, double pivot of Kone and Pisilli, with Soler playing behind Ferguson and Dybala. This sometimes looked more like a 3-4-3, it sometimes looked more like a 3-5-2. Very interesting to see that kind of Gasperini system. 4-3-3 for Sassuolo. Muric in goal, backline of Valukovic, Itzes, Muharemovic and Doig, midfield 3 of Lipani, Matic and Kone, front 3 of Fadera, Pinamonti and Laurienté. So for the play-by-play, in the 16th minute, Sassuolo got close. Kone broke through on a one-on-one against Villar, but Villar blocked it. Then Lauriante shot wide on the rebound. I thought that was rubbish by Lauriante on the rebound, to be honest. Roma kept trying. Tsimikas and Pisilli had chances mid-half but lacked accuracy. Ferguson went off injured early from a back knock. He was replaced by Stefan El-Shaarawy. And then the 76th minute, Manu Kone scored. Celik drove down the right, slipped the ball to Sule, who floated in across into the box, and Kone ghosted between the two defenders and headed in. I don't know what the hell is going on between you two. What
Don't worry about it.
So confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Ciao, Nick. See you, bro. Don't worry, we got this.
Yeah.
And then 3 minutes later, Mattias Sule made it 2. It was Gilardi and Celik that combined. And a low ball into the middle. El-Shaarawy just let the ball run, gave it a slight little backheel flick to Sule, who calmly finished. Bro, it was almost like in this period, I was watching the game, and I was like, in and out while watching this game. I'm like, but nothing is happening. Roma aren't being inventive enough. Sassuolo are managing to hold them, but aren't really offering much on the break. And then there came those 3 minutes where Roma just looked like a prime Gasperini team, just like complete onslaught. Initially, I felt like Roma were frustrated by Sassuolo's man marking and their very compact block, something we're not used to seeing in a Sassuolo team. However, Roma were very patient and they were very structured in the pressing in the second half, and they managed to create space. And I feel like something smart that they did was towards the later stages in the game, they were attacking down that right-hand side, which is where I believe Doig was. So they targeted Doig's side and they managed to get a lot of success from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the introduction of players like Wesley makes a massive difference, right? I mean, the pace on that, and he's just so difficult to handle. I think Roma were impressive this game. I think that Sule has really established himself as a leader, and we see Kone as well chipping in with a goal too. Gasperini literally asked specifically for Kone to do that. We have Dybala actually playing regularly. This is, what's that, 3-4 back-to-back starts?
I think
it's quite impressive. Huh?
I think it is.
And he seems to nowadays avoid shooting. This is an observation that Patron Cesco made. That Dybala, it's not the Dybala that they fell in love with. It's a different version, because he's not gonna go and attempt to curl it from out of the box or attempt to hoof it into the back of the net. He's extremely cautious, maybe because of instruction or because he's afraid to injure himself again, because his last injury that he did pick up was when he was striking the ball, in fact. So I think he's trying to avoid it. I don't know if you've noticed that as well. If you look at the stats, the shooting stats at least, he attempted just 4 shots this game.
Oh, thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
Look at that. That's what that weird transaction was. Got
I
us
wrote-
a bottle of
I wrote,
Disaronno.
can you get the bottle on my iPad? I showed it to Nick. And then he asked, where is it? So I have to write where it was. Near toaster in kitchen.
Writing Ask Sarah would have been a lot shorter. But anyway, I do agree your point about Dybala, and I think it has to do with one or two things, right? It's either that it's an instruction from the manager for the system, which is, look, let's not be having it from here, there and everywhere, or it is one that has to do more with his fitness. And I tend to think, considering how Gasperini's sides tend to play, he was never one to really shy away. If he had a good striker of the ball, if he has Ilicic, he's going to tell Ilicic, listen bro, don't fucking shoot. So I think it says more about the fitness situation with Dybala. And Dybala, I feel like Rome loves him. He's an icon there, just like Juve love him, and like he's an icon there. But they pay him a lot of money, and I don't quite think he provides them with what they need in this particular system. Maybe if it were 2 seasons ago, you'd say the player is bigger than the system because he's world class. Yes, I just don't think that's the case anymore. I'm sure if he were to risk an injury, he'd be fucking phenomenal. But the way it is now, he doesn't have enough. We spoke about this last time. He doesn't have enough runners in behind attacking the channels for him to show how good he is at passing the ball, for
Yes,
example.
Yes. Fair. And to be honest with you, man, it's always an advantage having him, even if you're instructing him not to shoot, because simply his footballing IQ is mental, and he's so technical, and he can create something out of nothing. So even having Adebala operating at 60% would be better than having the alternatives on the bench. However, that being said, they do need to think about the future and think about his salary and the fact that he is a player who is on the decline. Yeah.
The parallel I would draw is, imagine they got Raspadori to play exactly
He's off
where...
to Atalanta.
What?
Now, they were saying on the group chat, I haven't actually had time to check it because we were doing prep, but apparently Raspadori is off to Atalanta.
Raspadori's off to Atalanta?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool
Him
as
and
well.
Scamacca back together, huh?
That's fucking cool as well. The Sassuolo boys.
Yep, is set to join Atalanta.
Unbelievable!
Giacomo Raspadori!
Okay, so that's a problem for Roma.
It is indeed.
I thought it really fit. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Bala will have to do for the
Yeah.
time being. But
El Shaarawy on that assist.
El Shaarawy on that assist.
How smart he
on
is.
that assist.
How smart he is.
Brilliant.
How smart he is.
He's
When you have a good when you read the game well, that never goes.
I'm blown away about
Raspadori.
To Atalanta. I was expecting to either go to Roma or Lazio. It's really
How
taken
do
me
they
aback.
play? I'm curious to see.
Really. But that really shows that Lukman must be off to Fenerbahce, because Fenerbahce want him.
Yes, I think that's gonna happen.
I think that's gonna happen. So he's the replacement. Interesting. January is as fire as it sucks. I'll try speed this through because we're already an hour and a half in. Manu Kone finally adding goals to his game. Sule, I think Sule doesn't get... I feel like Sule is too young for people not to praise him because he's a guarantee. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I
okay.
mean? How is he not mentioned in the same breath as the likes of Yildiz and these guys when he's just 22 years old?
He
bro?
is. He's 22. and
That's crazy.
It's not like you can say he's doing it under the radar
He's
at the moment. He's doing it
consistent.
at Roma,
He's
who are
totally
pushing for the top
consistent.
4. Yeah, he's wildly consistent, to be honest.
He's a future legend of the team if he stays there. He had 8 shot creating actions, 2 key passes, 5 balls into the box.
5 balls.
5
Jesus Christ.
what had that guy said? Joseph Muscat
Has a carton of testicles. A carton of eggs.
kartuna bajt għandu. U taf kemm fiha kartuna? 30. It's not true. It's not true.
13 is 30.
It says basically our former prime minister has 30
This
testicles.
was a local viral video.
Yes,
These are not Matthew's political opinions.
No. Anyway, let's move on. Yes, okay. Roma find themselves in
Hell? No, kidding.
in 5th place, starting to get back to winning ways. They've gotten 2 wins in a row now. They're on 39 points. Sassuolo, like I said, haven't won in 6 games. Hopefully they'll start tracking up some points again soon, but they are in 11th place on 23 points, level on points with 12th place Torino.
Yes, we've got a cracker to cover now. Como against Bologna.
Shout out Gilardi in the absence of Indica.
Yes. Como and Bologna. They faced off in the afternoon. Very dramatic. And it was lovely. Cambiaghi went from hero to zero this game. And in the end, Bologna ended up leaving frustrated while Como extended their beaten run at home through individual brilliance. Yet again, they're very capable of doing this. So this ended up being a European 6-pointer against all odds between 6th and 8th, with both sides also holding a game in hand. Como came into this match on the back of 3 consecutive victories, but were missing Ramon through suspension, alongside injuries to Diao, Adai, Morata and Goldaniga. Bologna arrived under pressure after collecting just 2 points from the previous 6 league matches and were still without Skorupski and Bernardeschi. So, Como lined up in a 4-2-3-1 2-3-1 formation, as they typically do, with Boutte in goal, Van der Bremt on the right, Moreno on the left, with Diego Carlos and Kempf at the back. Perron and Dacunia were the double pivot, with Voivoda on the right, Rodriguez on the left, and Nico Paz playing behind Duvikas. As for Bologna, it was the same formation, 4-2-3-1, with Ravaglia in goal, Miranda and Zorte as the fullbacks, Lukumi and Hegem at the back, with Freuler and Pobega as a double pivot, Cambiaghi on the left, Rowe on the right, and Fabian playing behind Castro. Now, off the get-go, looking at this formation, you would think to yourself, this Bologna side has seemingly regressed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has. And the recent results,
They show, right?
they show that.
Yeah, it's a shame. They had a really great thing going. Maybe just a bump in the road, we'll see.
Well, they tend to have that in the season, Bologna. Then they always sneak in
Then
the
they go
latter
like
stages.
7 unbeaten.
Exactly.
You know? So Bologna came flying out of the blocks and nearly scored inside the opening minute. Boutte was forced into a sensational point-blank save after Freuler pulled the ball back perfectly for Cambiaghi. Como responded through Rodriguez, who cut inside 2 defenders and forced a sharp save from Ravaglia. Rodriguez was on one this game. Nico Paz then capitalized on a Lukumi mistake to test the keeper off his line, although the defender pulled up injured during the move and was replaced by Martin Vitic. Now, personally, I do think that Lukumi has been very clumsy lately.
He really has.
He made a big mistake, wayward
Since
pass.
Bokama left,
Yeah.
you could see certain chinks in his armor.
And I think he was linked away as well at one point, and that must have affected him as well. Dacunia later drilled wide from the edge of the area following another sharp Rodriguez run, while Freuler produced a decisive interception just before halftime to deny Duvikas a tap-in from close range. Rodriguez continued to cause problems after the break, dribbling past 3 defenders before firing narrowly wide. However, it was Bologna who took the lead moments later. Castro robbed Voivoda in midfield and laid the ball off to Cambiaghi. Cambiaghi shifted past 1 defender and poked a low finish through the legs of Kempf, surprising Butes from 10 yards out. It was Cambiaghi's first league goal since October. Bologna nearly doubled their advantage soon, but Castro failed to get enough contact on Pobega's fullback from 6 yards. The match swung on a controversial incident just after the hour. Van der Bremt barged into the back of Cambiaghi after they had a collision on the pitch. Cambiaghi reacted immediately by lifting his elbow into the Como defender's face. Following a VAR review, the referee gave Cambiaghi a straight red and gave Bremt a yellow card. Now this, I want to hear your opinion about it later on, bro, because I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to revisit it, go for it. Como thought they had handed a route back into the game. Sorry, they thought they had been handed a route back into the game later when Vitic wrapped his arms around Duvikas in the box. A penalty was initially awarded, but VAR reviewed again, and the decision was overturned due to minimal contact. Como pushed hard against 10 men. Paz struck a left-footed effort that cannoned off the inside of the far post and rolled along the goal line, staying out by millimeters, frustratingly close, agonizing for Nico Paz, the man on Matthew's back.
Hell yeah.
Rodriguez then pulled up dangerous ball across the 6-yard box, but Duvikas could only prod wide at the near post. Bologna defended deep, but still threatened sporadically, with Vitic seeing a header blocked from a Ferguson free kick. Just when Bologna looked set to hang on, Como found their moment deep into stoppage time. Baturina picked up the ball, drove at 2 defenders, cut onto his right foot, and bent in a sensational finish into the far top corner for our goal of the week. The goal completely changed the mood in the stadium as it erupted. It spared Como their first home defeat of the season, and they ended up leaving the pitch in high spirits. Brother, Baturina, the second time he's done this with very minimal game time, just 1 elite level action, and he just manages to produce a moment of brilliance like that.
And to be honest, considering how much hype there was about his signing, like he was signed along with Rodriguez,
yeah.
And I think 1 second Baturina was the most expensive player they've ever signed, and then 1 week later it was Rodriguez. So I was expecting to see a lot more of Baturina throughout the season. Upon further review, of course, he plays in a very similar position to Rodriguez and to Nico Paz. You can't just pop him on another side. I think the way that Fabregas has been using him is quite literally as an impact sub and almost the heir to Nico
Paz.
Paz.
Yeah, I
think
feel that.
he always knew that Paz was going to be out at some point because of his clause in his Real Madrid contract. So Baturina is being introduced. And this is a fantastic sign, no? Because when your team need a goal, typically it's Nico Paz that bails you out.
Yeah.
Being common, Nico Paz is the guy to get you out of a sticky situation. He is the world-class player in the team, in my opinion.
For sure. It's objective, I think.
Now Baturina is coming in. He's showing really good signs. He got himself an important goal. Now, can he be that important player? Can he be that replacement of Nico Paz moving forward? That is the big question. I think he has the talent to do it. I think he's awesome. I think he's amazing.
But we haven't seen him for long stretches. That's the thing. So we don't know how he'll hold up physically. Of course, he's 22 years old. I mean, not the youngest, but he should be fine. And he seems fine. He seems confident. His movement is extremely tricky, and he definitely has the technique to match. So we'll see. We'll definitely start seeing more of him. I think his first goal came against Torino in a thrashing. So we could have easily said everyone was scoring that.
Exactly.
This goal was a big one. So he's clearly capable of big moments.
And it was another big assist by Jesus Rodriguez, which of course it was.
He's a handful.
The work was done by Baturina, but Jesus Rodriguez throughout the entire game, you'd almost think he's the star of the team.
Yeah.
And by the way, the top 2 assisters in the league at the moment, each on 6 assists, Jesus Rodriguez, Nico Paz.
Yo, I had no idea. That's mental. Who's next?
Federico Di Marco on 5. Goals and assists, and then Nico Paz is on 12.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Moving on to Cambiaghi, bro.
Yes.
Decisive at both ends, of course, both ends of the narrative. Scoring and then costing Bologna his red card.
Yeah, he's the main character here.
Yeah. First of all, I like the way he's developing as a player, this guy. I like the way he plays. I think he's an effective player. What did you make of the red card situation, man? Because it was obviously the Van der Bremt was extremely street smart to provoke a response, and it worked perfectly, and he got him sent off simply by shoulder barging him on the back and then making a meal of the contact.
So he made Van der Bremt was very street smart. I think Cambiaghi's reaction is I don't think it can be justified. I think there is a part of me and you and everyone that if someone barges in your back, one of your first reaction is gonna be like oh, what the hell. And his elbow was a bit high. Van der Bremt, it was close to Van der Bremt's face though. It was a high elbow. It wasn't a normal reaction like what the hell.
And the thing is, I don't think he helped himself, because when he turned around, he remained extremely cool, calm, and collected. I think if he did a little oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you there. It was instinctive. It might have helped his case a bit, but the fact that he looked coldly at him while he was on the floor probably didn't help his case whatsoever.
And I saw people say that no contact was made, and the angle that I saw it looked like contact, but the angle that I saw was with Cambiaghi in front, so it's hard to see how far his elbow actually goes. But you get arrested for attempted murder, not just murder itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you try to punch a player in the face and the player dodges it, it's a red card nonetheless, because it's you're attempting to punch a player in the face.
Yeah.
Obviously a wild contrast, but that's the fact of the matter. If there wasn't any contact, the intent was there.
Exactly, bro.
I think it's fucking stupid by Cambiaghi, to be honest.
You're winning. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And this is a theme this week, huh? We have the Lecce boys coming up. Yeah. So yes, it's a bit of a theme, unfortunately. But yes, Como remain fucking unbeaten at home, which is absolutely crazy, while Bologna must be so frustrated right now. That is how many games,
bro. It's a lot.
Oof.
It's a lot.
Their last league victory.
Next page.
Oh my God!
I swear on my life.
Was against Udinese 3-0 in November
2025. November, December, January. Almost 2 months. It's almost 2 months. It's crazy. Thank you.
Brilliant.
We're recording this on Tuesday the 13th of January.
Exactly, yes. That is, they've gone winless against Napoli now in the Super Cup, Sassuolo, Inter, Atalanta, and now Como.
What I said about Sule earlier, that he's too young to be not praised because he's the star man, everyone kind of expects it from him. I'm feeling that about Como this year.
About Como in general.
About Como in general. So going into the season, everyone's hot take was that Como can get top 6 or Como can get top 4. These are incredibly hot takes. Yet they're in 6th. They've only lost 3 games in the league against big teams, you know. They're on 34 points. They're clearly they have a game in hand over Roma, and they are 5 points behind them. A game in hand over Atalanta, and they're 3 points ahead of them. Como are in a fantastic position considering they were promoted last season. People are talking about them like they weren't just promoted. Okay, they have the rich owners, they have Fabregas, whatever.
But that's it,
Remove Fabregas. There's a good question. Remove Fabregas. Give them Di Francesco, give them a Davide Nicola, give them a Zanetti.
I don't think Di Francesco or Nicola have ever had a team that good. And Zanetti either.
I think you will quickly see how important a good manager is. I think they'll be in the bottom half.
For sure. And probably, most likely, to be honest. But we have, unfortunately, have no sample size as to, no, Di Francesco has had teams that were this good,
Roma.
actually, because he managed Roma, exactly. And he took them to the Champions League.
He did pretty well. My point is, with Como starting 11, we think, this player is insane, because Fabregas, they'd be good players, but Fabregas gets them to the next fucking level, and he's constructed a phenomenal team.
Yeah. I think from your question, the most likely manager to replicate this with them would be Di Francesco from the lot you mentioned. But Fabregas's work goes under the radar simply because of the finances that were pummeled in and the players that there are. Right, it totally dilutes the success.
No one's going crazy over them anymore.
But that's because it's also early. Yeah?
They forget. Yeah, they're 10 points behind Inter.
Yes, they're doing very well. They're exceeding
Inter.
Expectations or matching the over expectations. But we'll see, because I do think that Atalanta are improving and could and are their main rival, to be honest, for that spot. Because
exactly, the league's never been harder. Bro.
When you look beneath Como and Atalanta, you have Bologna, who have been inconsistent. You have Lazio, who are a bit of a mess, and then the other teams shouldn't be really giving them a run for their money. You have Udinese, Sassuolo, Torino, Cremonese, Parma. You've got those guys.
Yeah.
So Como could definitely break in. It depends.
Completely.
Is it them or Atalanta?
Completely.
Are Roma gonna fall? What's gonna happen? Who knows?
See. That's the most exciting part of the league.
Yeah. Friggin'
Are you happy to move on?
Yes, I am. Let me just read out. Okay, of course, Como in 6th with 34 points, Bologna 9th with 27 points.
Fantastic. Speaking of Atalanta and where Atalanta, how are they going to do, etc., they just beat Torino 2-0 and they are flying up the table. That is 5 wins in their last 6 matches, 3 in a row. Here they missed Bellanova, Bakker, Godfrey and Kolasinac, with Scamacca fit enough to feature off the bench. Torino, a team in transition, coming off defeats, tactical reshuffles, injuries and suspensions. Most recently they fell to Udinese. Here they missed Shores, Ilic, Savva, Casadei and Pedersen. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 3-0 thumping by Atalanta. 3-4-2-1 formation for Palladinos. Menkarne Secchi in goal, backline of Honest Ahanor, Berat, Jim City and Giorgio Scalvini. Brescianoni was on the left, Zappa Costa on the right, double pivot of Ederson and Derone, with Zalewski and De Ketelare playing behind Nikola Kristovic.
Bernasconi,
so what did I say?
I have no idea. Something between
I think Brescianoni
and Berlusconi.
You see where I get confused, bro. 3-5-2 formation for Torino. Paleari in goal, backline of Ismaili, Maripan and Coco. Lazaro was on the right, Abu Klal was on the left, midfield 3 of Vlasic, Tamez and Ginetis, with Zapata and Cyril Ngonge starting up front together. It didn't take long for Atalanta to open the scoring. It was the 13th minute as Bernasconi took a corner and De Ketelare glanced a header past Paleari. The Belgian ended a 118-day goal drought in the league. In the 41st minute, Jim City was injured in a collision with Zapata and was therefore replaced. Late in the first half, Torino Zapata nearly equalised. Carnesecchi saved on the Vlasic follow-up. Carnesecchi, as always, under the radar. Fantastic young goalkeeper. Atalanta led 1-0 heading into halftime. They controlled the tempo. Torino were struggling to convert their left-sided dominance into real chances. But then the 57th minute, Torino made some changes. Ilkan entered as a regista. Simeone and Adams replaced Zapata and Ngonge. Baroni clearly wanted creativity and depth, and he wanted to get back into the game. They did have a few chances, particularly through Maripan and Simeone. There was a great save by Carnesecchi. And then the 91st minute, Atalanta just sealed the deal as Torino committed fully forward, trying to get that victory. Biragi's cross was intercepted by Scamacca. Pasalic counter-attacked solo. He beat Paleari in a one-on-one. And let me tell you what, that was the goal that made me the happiest this week.
It was beautiful.
Pasalic scoring. Clearly emotional. For those of you that don't know, he played under... What a man to play in the same week that this man buried his father, man.
Had his father died so recently? I thought he died weeks earlier.
He missed the game against Genoa, was it? He missed the game earlier this week. The Percassi family, along with the CEO Luca Percassi and co-chairman Stefan Pagliuca, the coach, teammates, etc., travelled to Croatia to be with him in that difficult week, man. Which is fantastic.
That sums up Atalanta,
right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It really does.
Very family centered club.
You read
and you see it when you arrive in Bergamo. You arrive at the airport. You see the first thing you see is De Ketelara's face on a massive poster. Like it's the team is central to the city, and the players are central to the owners as well. They're not totally. Well, they are dispensable. It's still a business at the end of the day, but they're just very human as a club. Even the way they had handled Ilicic. It's just funny that Gasperini was their coach for so long.
Hey, man.
We're saying this, because of course he tends to.
Ranieri
Ranieri literally said that you are not a nice person, and while presenting him to Roma, but whatever. But he still had so much to do, Pasalic, in that goal. I can imagine what's going on through his head while he's running, covering all that ground. And then the keeper tries to feint him out, and he ends up going for the top corner. Audacious finish from there. And then he just bursts into tears. It's beautiful.
He had a long time to think, which is even harder because he had a long run from halfway all the way to in front of the keeper, thinking where he's gonna slot it. I don't know if any emotion is felt at that period, oh my God, I'm gonna do it for him. I don't know. I've never been a fucking professional footballer, and I never will be. But all I know is that his father would be extremely proud after finishing that goal. And when it comes to football, I believe in miracles, and I think these things happen in the footballing world. He just lost his father, gets a goal shortly after. Very happy. Pasalic seems like a solid guy. Back to more of the football talk, I thought Palladino, obviously there was absolutely no rotation from Palladino, which shows his prioritization of the league and the
they have ground to cover.
Every game is a final at this point. He wants to get them to where they deserve to be, which is top 4, not top 6. But they secured 2 wins in the stressful week, but as a result, they lost Jim City to injury, and they still have... What's his name? The centre back out at AFCON, Kusunu. Kusunu is he's soon back. Hien replaced him. So he's don't
currently,
think...
Kusunu's from?
God, I don't know.
Kusunu.
I'm not sure.
Something
tells me Ivory Coast.
I believe so. It's something like that. I'll double check that.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to mention is this Honest Stahanor, man. He's excellent.
Yes.
Honest
Stahanor. You remember him?
17 years old. He's still 17, and he's putting in these performances absolutely, barely put a foot wrong. He tried a few long passes, which weren't successful, but...
Good.
He's good.
Now's the time to try them, man.
Exactly.
17.
And it's crazy that Honest Stahanor is starting. Jim City goes off injured, and Hien comes on. A more established player than himself.
I do think Jim City is their most important defender.
Where the fuck is Kosuno, man?
He came on. He must be on the sub. No, he didn't come
How
on.
could he have come on if he's in Africa?
Oh, they're unavailable players.
I went. Oh, his name is Dylan.
Oh, Dylan Kusunu.
Yeah, he's from the Ivory Coast. Yeah.
I know my Africans. This obviously leaves the talk about, okay, so Jim City has been diagnosed with a left iliac bone contusion, guys. No fracture though. And an oblique muscle problem, so essentially hurt his leg and his abdomen. Gazzetta confirmed this. He will step in and Kusunu is soon available, as I said. Lookman is seemingly going to Fenerbahce after he just wants to create this feud with Osimhen. It seems like Osimhen told him, yeah, come to Turkey, bro, it's good.
Yeah.
But go to Fenerbahce.
After they fell out publicly at AFCON.
Maybe you'll pass to me there. Like, to be honest, it sucks losing Lookman to Turkey. I would have wished at least he would have stayed in the league, gone to Inter or something like that, because he's a phenomenal player. But yay, Atalanta, he doesn't go to an opposing team. I guess they did what they had to do there, ruined the player's career. but don't
Have
worry.
they ruined his career? I don't know if they ruined his career. I think Lookman signed the contract. You can't just decide to leave, but the club owns you. They have the right to reject offers coming from direct rivals.
Absolutely.
Right? Fuck it. Like, speaking of Turkey, though, you think Zappacosta's been?
Yes.
Yes, it's looking thick.
It's looking thick, but it might be a spray on.
It could be the fibers. Yeah.
Where do you get that from? Gee, asking for a friend. But this is interesting. Raspadori, I have no prep on what happens if they get Raspadori, etc. Because I'm sure he was off to Roma. But he slots in nicely. He slots in the 3-4-2-1. He slots in the 3-5-2. He can play wide. He can play closer to goal. For me, Raspadori is best up top next to another striker. If they go Scamacca, Raspadori up front, CDK behind them, gorgeous.
Throwback to Sassuolo.
Absolutely.
Scamacca and Raspadori teaming up again.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I thought Torino did good to stay in the game and to actually aim to get back into the game. I thought they were unlucky with that counter-attack at the end that sealed the 2-0 victory for Atalanta. I like the efforts. It looked like they wanted a win, and there were some good substitutions made, as I detailed earlier. They got really close through Maripan and Simeone. There was an excellent save when Simeone was through. A defender made really good ground to get back and to push him wide a bit. I think Simeone ran a bit too wide. But then he went to dink Carnesecchi, and Carnesecchi did well and celebrated it like a goal.
He's really good. Carnesecchi's sensational.
Yes, but
just great performance after great performance.
Torino need to start getting some results together. However, that is 3 losses in their last 5 games. At least, hey, there are 2 wins over there. They currently find themselves in 12th place on 23 points, level on points with Sassuolo, whereas Atalanta climbing up, man, just 3 points behind Como. However, the team do have a game in hand.
Yeah, so we can move on to the next one, which happens to be Hellas Verona against Lazio, a game which saw Lazio actually winning 1-0. Yeah, they rode their luck, to be honest, because it was a Victor Nelson own goal that proved to be decisive. But also, we got to see new signings, Kenneth Taylor and Petar Ratkov for Lazio. Ratkov. Sick name, right? Would have loved the commentator to scream it, but Cancellieri just doesn't pass. But anyway, Lazio came into this off the dramatic 2-2 draw with Fiorentina, secured by a last gasp Pedro penalty. Noslin and Marisic returned from suspension, but Zaccagni was banned this time, while Patrick and Basic were injured. Dia and Della Bashiru were away at AFCON, so Kenneth Taylor went straight into the starting 11, following Guendouzi's sale to Fenerbahce, with Ratkov named on the bench. Hellas were coming off a 2-2 draw to Napoli, but missed Thomas Suslov, by the way. Akpro and Belgali. I forgot about Suslov completely. Has he rejoined them? Has he just been out all season, bro?
I think he's been out all season, man. I remember mentioning him.
I'll have a check that, yeah. So Lazio came out... lineups. So Montepò was in goal for for Hellas Verona in their 3-5-2 formation, with Nelson, Bella Ketchup and Valentini at the back, Bradaric and Freze on the wings, with Niasse, Gagliardini and Bernadette in the middle, Jovan and Giftorban together up front. For Lazio, it was Provedel in goal in their 4-3-3 formation with Pellegrini, Romagnoli, Gila and Marusic at the back. Taylor, Cataldi and Vecino in the middle with Cancelleri on the left, Isaacson on the right and Noslin up front. So Lazio came out flying and nearly took the lead just after 4 minutes. Isaacson cut inside and fired that goal, forcing Valentini to throw himself in the way of the shot before Niasse prevented Noslin from nodding in the rebound. Hellas responded through Bradaric, whose curler was palmed away by Provedel after some good work from Jovan down the right. Romagnoli then failed to keep his header down on a free kick routine, while Provedel stayed alert to parry Frese's cross shot at the base of the near post. Frese has been quite dangerous recently.
Yeah, he really has been.
The hosts created the clearest chances before the break. Frese rolled the ball across the 6-yard box. Provedel finger-tipped it away from Jovan sliding in, and Pellegrini produced a desperate defensive intervention to deny Bradaric on the back of the post. In the second half, the tempo increased. Cancelleri fired over the bar while Isaacson saw his effort charge down following a Taylor roll across from the left. Lazio also enjoyed a notable moment when Rovella made his first appearance since September, while Ratkov came on for his Serie A debut. Massive having Rovella back.
Absolutely.
Marusic tested Montepò with a powerful free kick. It was crazy. Because you see all these people standing over the free kick. The last thing you'd expect is Marusic to take it. But he was the one who took it. And to be honest, it wasn't terrible. A bit central, but not terrible. Bella Ketchup surged forward from his own half before blasting over and suffering a cramp, while Bernadette later struck the side netting after a sharp Amin Sar run. The goal came in the 79th minute with a slice of fortune for Sarri's side. Lazio won the ball back in midfield and Cancelleri threaded a pass through to Lazzari down the right. Lazzari had been running from his own half and his low cross took a deflection off of Victor Nelson, looping up and over a helpless Montepò to drop into the net for a cruel own goal. Pedro went close to doubling the lead with a curling effort that Montepò pushed away, but the closing stages were dominated by controversy. Following a long Verona throw-in, Valentini flicked the ball up and collided with Provedel, prompting furious appeals for a penalty from the home side. VAR reviewed the incident and opted not to call the referee to the monitor, leaving Zanetti incredulous on the touchline. Lazio held on to get the away victory. Is this a case of, listen Lazio, you've been robbed over and over again. You can have this one. Is it a case of that simply? Because this, to me, is a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
He makes contact with the player and not the ball.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think Serie A gave one back to Lazio, so they...
It seems like that.
Seems like something I would do, though, if I was Serie A. I'd just give this one to Lazio, make them shut the fuck up.
Maybe they stop. The moaning clearly works.
I think moaning works in general. Look at Allegri and Conte and Mourinho, etc. Yeah. If I was a referee, I'd be shitting my pants to give a call against Conte.
Absolutely.
You know, so it definitely works. I don't know if that's the case. I feel like I'd be pointing fingers. But Suslov, by the way, was out because he did his ACL in August. Yes. So he's finally working his way back in. He's actually had quite a tough time with injuries, man. He also had an ankle ligament injury in 2024. He's a good
great player.
Suslov,
I think he can save their season because there is a problem in that midfield. This Niasse Gagliardini Bernadette doesn't exactly do wonders, even though Bernadette was a really cool headband. So regarding Lazio, I think Isaacson has been a little bit frustrating to watch lately.
He really has been.
I think he often makes the wrong decisions. Cancelleri has been so selfish.
He's tunnel vision, He's tunnel vision.
And I'm not sure if it's selfish or literally that, like the lack of awareness. I don't know if he lacks awareness or if he lacks maybe vision or intelligence. I don't know. Let me know what you think, guys.
I picture Cancelleri playing his best football in a similar situation to Zaniolo. Maybe in a 2 up top with maybe a smaller side like Udinese, for example.
It could be.
Because he's so
direct. Because in the Premier League.
Theo said.
Who was it? Who's the team? One of the B ones.
Brentford.
Nice.
Brentford.
There we go, Nick. Legend.
But he's so direct.
If they offer anything 30 million upwards, I think Lazio should probably take that and run.
They're letting Tati and Guendouzi go for 30. They'll let Cancelleri go for 30 for sure.
Yeah. We'll see what they do. If they remove Cancelleri, I think they'll bring in Insigne.
Yes.
Right? Because Insigne had kind of like quietened down all of a sudden.
It has, and he was in Rome.
Yeah. He was there. He was fucking there the whole time.
They're really trying to force the move he is. I
This-
don't think Verona were bad in this
They
game.
weren't bad. No, they were solid. They made Lazio's life extremely complicated, and it took this moment for them to actually lose the game. In fact, Hellas Verona are the team that is underachieving the most
Yes.
in the bottom.
Alongside Moise Keane. Was the highest XG in the league. He has like 2 goals to his name.
Yeah,
Quite ridiculous.
Exactly. I'd love to stay here a little bit more on this game, but we are a little bit pressed for time.
Oh,
I have to
we're-
say that Taylor looked to be quite a good player, to be honest with you. He seems quite polished, doesn't make many mistakes. I think
But
he misplaced 3 passes
I'd
only.
be excited to.
So
keep an eye on
he's
this guy.
just
You've been
arrived. He
raving
walked
about him.
straight into the team, and he put in a decent performance. Nothing incredible, but he looked solid. So nice to see what Sarri. I'm excited to see what Sarri can do with him. And if they get Loftus-Cheek also. Is that gonna
Yes.
happen?
Sorry, I was getting confused. Taylor is actually the guy they signed from Ajax, I believe, right? Yes, and Milan wanted him last summer
Yes,
as well before they
exactly.
made a move for Joshua.
He's from the Netherlands, exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
Kenneth Taylor, you know, sounds like
he's
he's from
highly
the
rated,
UK.
and we had some patrons say it was a steal. I believe they got him for around 15 million. So excited to keep an eye on him. Let's jump to Udinese Pisa. I'm going to be rapid from now on. Despite the highs and lows, Udinese are in 10th, bless you, and have racked up 7 wins,
Fucking hell.
beating Torino away earlier this week. Here they missed Buxa and Bayo. Pisa were coming off a loss to Como, still just on 1 win this season against Cremonese. Here they missed Stengs, Quadrado, Albiol, Akin San Miro, Luzwardi and Vural. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-0 win for Udinese, who lined up in a 4-4-2 formation. Maduka Okoye in goal with Kamara, Sole, Cabasele and Bertola at the back. Eklinkamp, Karlstrom, Miller and Zanoli in midfield with Davis and Zaniolo up front. 3-4-1-2 formation for Gilardino's men with Scuffé in goal, Calabresi, Caracciolo and Carnestrelli at the back, Leris on the right, Angori on the left, double pivot of Marin and Abisher, with Tramoni playing behind Moreo and Meister. In the 13th minute, Matteo Tramoni curled a beautiful right-footed shot from the left into the top far corner to open the scoring for Pisa. Udinese found an equaliser just 6 minutes later as Zaniolo swung in a corner from the right and Cabasele was free at the back post to head it home. Udinese took the lead and then threw a penalty after Leris fouled Eklinkamp in the box, and after a VAR review the penalty was awarded. Davis calmly converted it, sending Scuffé the wrong way to make it 2-1. Then the 66th minute, Pisa found their equaliser as Tramoni provided a cross from the left, Piccinini rose for a header and Okoye saved it but couldn't hold on, and Meister followed up and tapped in on the rebound to make it 2-2. In the 77th minute, Meister hit the post after surging forward impressively. Udinese nearly won it in the 88th after Arthur Atta took a low drive from distance which hit the post, and then immediately after, Davis had an open goal from 6 yards out but struck the ball over the bar. Udinese really unlucky not to get a win over there. Biggest talking point over here is Zaniolo announced on Instagram that he's getting his knee scoped and will miss about 2 weeks. He'll have a clean-up surgery after dealing with some soreness for a couple of weeks, Sky Italia have reported. He'll likely sit out at least one extra fixture in addition to the Inter one, which he would have missed anyway due to a suspension. Atta, Iker Bravo and Idrissa Gueye will substitute for him. Big loss for Udinese.
Massive loss. He's been their best player. He's been their rock star so far, and he's kind of found a new lease of life in Udinese against all odds when it seemed like his career was spiraling out of control. So yeah, big loss for sure, but I think they'll be in good hands. Did you mention Atta's back or he's still out, Atta?
Atta, yeah, he's back.
He's back, that's good at least.
Atta featured and he hit the post late on.
Yeah. So Atta and Miller will bring enough creativity and Eklinkamp for them to cope without him. We'll see.
Yeah. Depends on their fixtures as well. How
and the manager is very inventive, so we'll see what he does.
I liked what Gilardino did. He set up a compact midfield, so that denied Udinese's, powerhouses in midfield and their physicality. However, Meister was often isolated up front. There was a lack of support made. There was a lack of support which made transition slower. However, I thought it was a fair result considering how the game went. Udinese could have won it at the end, but Pisa could use a stroke of luck every now and then.
Yeah. Unfortunately for them, it never gives them 3 points.
Yeah, but I'm happy to see Tramoni improving, and it seems like when he's playing behind the striker, he's getting a bit more success in that position.
Yeah. And to be honest, in these games that are a little bit more stretched, and he has a bit more room to run without having a low block right in front of him, or having he's having a bit more space, he tends to do better. But yeah.
Agreed.
Shall we just rush to the next?
Let's rush to the next, remembering we also have predictions to do. Pisa find themselves in 19th place on 13 points, actually level on points with last place Hellas Verona. While Udinese find themselves in 10th. This is the best we've seen Udinese do in a while, actually. They're on 26 points, 3 ahead of Sassuolo.
Yeah, Lecce hosted Parma, and it all started well. I'm going to do this one very quickly, okay? It was Stulic who opened the scoring after Banda crossing the ball. Lamine Banda. Just a minute in, not even a few seconds in. Massive goal. Never heard the Scottish commentator go that mental. But then, of course, shit hit the fan. So it all started, so the first half Lecce got the lead, they sat back a little bit, they absorbed a lot of pressure, and they went into halftime with the lead. They came out in the second half, they brought on Indri, and they literally tried to manage the game a little bit, but in the 57th minute, Banda randomly and unprovoked and totally unnecessarily lunges into a tackle and absolutely destroys the player. He studs up in the ankle. It's an awful challenge, and he is sent off. And
Clarted him.
Yeah, he clarted him, and I'm
Could have
surprised
broken his leg.
It took VAR to realize that.
Hey.
Yeah. Eventually, Thiago Gabriel would go on to score an own goal for Lecce. Literally a cross coming in over the top. He goes to head it to clear it and ends up heading it into the back of his own.
Yes, very similar own goal to the one Muharemovic scored against Juve.
Exactly. And then shortly after that, just a few minutes later, in the 72nd minute, it was actually Pellegrino who scored, converting a cross from Bernabe, who was excellent in this game. Bernabe was so good, he even hit the post at one point sensationally. He was all over the place. In the 92nd minute, it was Gaspar's turn to get a red card, just to continue making Di Francesco's life as difficult as possible. He got a red card for literally kicking Pellegrino in the ribcage while Pellegrino was hugging the ball.
Literally,
Yeah, not a good look at all for him. And that would be it. Lecce losing a massive 6-pointer over here, and Banda literally let them down. That's just a case of recklessness and stupidity, quite frankly.
Absolutely. Really, really stupid by Banda to even initiate that. I mean, from a winning position. No, it was.
Yeah, they were winning. They were 1-0 up. They had scored early, held on for an entire half, and they were 57th minute? 57th minute.
That's should be benched as soon as he's back. That's a punishment in the making. Lamine Banda. Aside from that, of course, and then the last game would be Genoa 3, Cagliari 0. Another relegation 6-pointer, you could say, even though Cagliari have almost separated themselves. Actually, the swim puts Genoa level on points with Cagliari. It started off, Colombo scored in the 7th minute. That is Colombo's third goal in 3 matches, and the second game in a row he was set up by Ruslan Malinovsky. So Colombo was never scoring before at any of these other teams because Ruslan Malinovsky wasn't there with him, because clearly there's some good chemistry between these guys. Cagliari did have a few chances in this game, however Genoa were clearly the better side throughout the game. Frendrup then scored in the 30th minute. It was Luperto miscued a clearance, and Frendrup struck from distance. It deflected off Prati and went into the back of the net. And then obviously Ostegard scored a header where I think it was with his neck. He almost missed the header, but the ball went in off his back. I thought this was a huge win for Genoa, rising to 19 points, starting again to separate themselves from that relegation, which is I think where Genoa and Cagliari should be considering their squads. No. Yes.
The thing is about Cagliari, though, I think that's that's two disappointing performances on the trot. I know they came back against Cremonese, but they also found themselves 2-0 down that game as well. And this one 3-0 down, you know. It's quite unlike them. They looked much steadier. I hope they recover from this.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is no, not
Genoa
really.
were
This
just
is
better
where you
at
could
it, yeah.
start to see maybe the inexperience of the manager. Can he get them out of a spell like this, which I believe he has in the past? If you look at there were long stretches where they went without a victory and then came back and beat the likes of Roma, and even further up over here where they beat Torino. So they're capable of beating teams that are above them. It's sometimes these lateral games that they underperform in,
which is surprising.
Frustrating. Like I
the
said,
good news for them is that Fiorentina have 2 wins, Pisa have 1 win, and Hellas have 2 wins as well.
Yeah.
So the teams at the bottom aren't winning left, right, and centre. Let's just say
exactly.
that.
For context, Genoa and Cagliari are both on 19 points in 15th place and 16th place. So that's it for our game-to-game breakdown.
Yes.
We have the draft left
We have
of
the
our
draft
Serie
and
11
the Patreon
and the
voice note.
Patreon voice note. Exactly.
Exactly.
And the
predictions.
Let's start with our predictions, shall we?
Okay, let's do this rapid fire.
Let's do this rapid fire predictions because this one takes the least amount of time. Serie fixtures. So just a reminder that Jake is ahead with the score of 3-2.
I'm not
It's
just
getting
ahead.
close. You're a lot more than just ahead. I'll start. Pisa.
Wait, we're round 16. We're ignoring, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Ignore
okay.
round of 16. Unless Ola, leave it.
No, leave it. Pisa, Atalanta.
Pisa, Atalanta. Atalanta win.
Atalanta win.
Your turn. Udinese, Inter.
Inter win.
Inter win. Napoli, Sassuolo. Napoli win.
Napoli win.
Cagliari, Juve.
Juve win.
Juve win. Parma, Genoa. Draw.
Genoa.
Bologna, Fiorentina.
Draw.
Draw. Torino, Roma. Roma. Milan, Lecce. Milan.
Every week I say this. Milan.
No, you said draw against Fiorentina.
Did
and
I?
You were
really?
right.
I'm a genius.
Cremonese, Verona. Cremonese bounce back.
Draw.
Lazio, Como. You.
Draw.
Como. All right, so there were a few different ones there at least. They weren't the same for all the bigger team's gonna win kind of thing.
It was a weird start, that one.
Uh-huh.
All right, so shall we move on to this draft thing? I'm very excited.
Yes, so let's start off with the manager, right? So first, should we do a quick rock, paper, scissors for who starts this?
Sure. Or we do who's taking the lead in the prediction. So I'm taking the piss. Let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right.
You're up.
I'm going to start off manager of the season thus far. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Allegri when you consider the improvement that he's made to Milan, which Milan were a team last season that looked completely indifferent to getting any points whatsoever. He's really managed to get a team from 8th to challenging for the league at this stage. He's showing his experience. Of course, there were some shortcomings in Milan not beating the smaller teams, but I do think he was somewhat set up for failure. When you play the smaller teams, you need a reference point up front, which he didn't have. I do believe we're going to start seeing that decrease now that Füllkrug is in.
Fair enough. I will go with Conte. Simply because he has handled an injury crisis and actually changed his system a lot and found success in doing so. I think he has faced quite a few challenges so far, and he's risen above them every single time. And I think he's been the best manager so far.
Honorable mentions, of course, to the managers that came in and changed team seasons,
Spalletti.
including Palladino and Spalletti.
Exactly.
And I also want to give a special shout out to Kivu,
Of
because
course.
no one thought he would be in first.
Exactly. And of course, he is winning the games that, for example, Allegri hasn't been winning.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this in a 3-5-2.
I guess so.
Okay.
Are you good with that? 3-5-2.
I'm alright.
We'll go with Allegri's formation
Let's do it. And Conte sometime.
Conte sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess I get first pick on defenders as well.
So no, you get first pick on anyone you want.
On anyone I want.
Yes.
On anyone I fucking want.
Yeah,
That's
draft.
crazy. So I'm gonna go for Nico Paz in midfield.
You can't.
Why the fuck not? Nico Paz. Back of my shirt, baby.
Okay. I will go for. What am I gonna take now? Let's go for.
Is this a combined 11 or separate?
What do you mean combine? No, this is separate.
Separate. Okay. No, because I just thought
So
it'd be
you've
cool.
taken Nico Paz. I will take Pulisic.
Ooh. Up top in a
Up top,
3-5-2.
Yeah, in a 3-5-2.
Excellent. Good choice.
Thank you. Not after last game.
No, not after last game at all. Should I take... so now I can't take Pulisic up front. Exactly. Sorry, I'm still getting the hang of this.
No problem.
So I'm gonna go for Yildiz.
Very nice. So I will take Sule
Oh, nice.
as my front two. Pulisic and Sule.
McTominay.
Okay, I'll take Di Marco.
Oh, you dick. Okay, so I won't go left back for now. I'm safe. Okay, Wesley.
Okay. Modric.
Hakan. Hakan.
Hakan.
Hakan.
Okay, so you went Hakan. I will go. I guess I can do Rabiot, man, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Fuck
You have
it.
Rabiot Modric in
Yeah.
that team, which is fire.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ostegard.
Oh, you dick. Oh. Lamin Banda's there.
He's right. He's right.
there,
He's
there.
not wrong.
Never let them know your next move. Take Banda. Okay. Can I take, for example, how true to the position does it have to be?
See and we'll see. Say and we'll see. Sorry.
So, for example, can I take Zaniolo in midfield? No, right? That's
no
cheap.
way.
That sucks.
No.
No, okay. So I will take Lobotka.
You'll take Lobotka.
Lobotka in the middle. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Have we gone Mancini yet?
No.
I'm going Mancini.
Okay. So I will take Palestra.
You'll take Palestra.
I'll take Palestra on the right.
Okay. Are you done for strikers?
I'm done for strikers. I'm done for midfielders.
I'm done for midfielders. Okay, so I'll take a defender and I'm gonna do Rahmani.
Your defense is going to be better than mine, I think. I will
course.
start off by taking Gila. I
Okay.
think he's been great. This is, just for those of you listening, this is performance-based this season so far.
Yes.
Of overall quality, of course.
Yes. Spinazzola, left back.
Nice shout, man. Lovely player. He's been so good, man. People
He really
talk about
has
his
been.
Euros days. I think he's even better now.
Hey, man, hey.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Different player.
Yeah. I'll take Bremer, man. I mean, you can't say that Bremer hasn't been pivotal. When he plays, he's unplayable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Hasn't had that much playing, but it almost says a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic Mike the Eagle fucking Manyan in goal.
Very nice. And I will go for Ramon as my third centre back.
Amazing.
Should I go Ramon or
Amazing.
Indica?
Go Ramon.
Ramon.
Let's go
Fuck it,
Ramon.
Let's go Ramon. We're going
Ramon!
Ramon.
Where is my burger? You went pussy lick up front, eh?
Mm-hmm.
This leaves me with Lautaro.
Oh no, the top scorer.
Oh no, the top scorer, the most goal contributions. Lautaro Yildiz, I'll take.
Yeah.
Shall we go through our starting 11?
Yeah, wait, I take a keeper.
Doesn't matter.
So, you took
Manyan.
Manyan. So it's between Zvelar, it's between Zvilar, Carnesecchi, and Bute, I would say.
You're leaving out two that I really like.
Which ones?
I'm gonna tell you because I'm a nice guy.
Vanya
and Caprile.
and Caprile is great. He made that one mistake.
That one
Yeah,
mistake.
so
According to you, Mike made like 9.
10.
All right.
Carnesecchi, I'm taking.
Carnesecchi in goal. Very nice. So my team is 3-5-2. Magic Mike the fucking Eagle Mannion in goal. Backline of Rahmani, Mancini, Ostegard, Spinazzola and Wesley out wide. Hakan, McTominay and Nico Paz with Lautaro and Yildiz up front. This team wins the league. It's done. Allegri, you're kidding me?
I've got Carnesecchi in goal. This team is managed by Conte with Gila, Bremer and Ramon at the back. Di Marco on the left, Palestra on the right with Modric, Lobotka and Rabiot in the middle. Pulisic and Sule up front together. So the problem over here is if we can't score against a low block, what are we going to do?
There is a
that's
lack of number 9s in Serie.
You're
I
not
have
gonna
the
take
only
Keane,
one,
are
I
you?
think.
There's Scamacca, but he's been sporadic. The problem is consistency-wise, there aren't many players who've been great all season.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Lautaro has that because of the smaller teams, obviously.
Yes.
Onto the voice note.
the
So
final segment.
let's exactly. Shall we plug it? Shall we end it here and plug it in?
Sure, we can do that.
Let's
Yes,
do
yes,
that.
yes.
Let's do that. So we can wrap up, get Nick home because he has a steak waiting for him, right, Nick?
Exactly. So
Amazing.
the floor is Daniel, our fellow patron and resident Inter fan, who's going to let you know his thoughts on Inter's season so far. Take it away, Daniel.
Hi guys, Daniel here, the resident Interisti of the group. And as we're now at the halfway point of the season, I thought it'd be as good a time as any to do a little review of Inter's season so far. If we go back to the start of the season, obviously a lot had changed. We'd had Inzaghi suddenly jumping ship for the riches of Saudi Arabia. The Champions League final disaster and the club's eventual decision to hire Kivu going forward, which had led to a lot of doom and gloom online. The Inter fan base, which can be a little toxic at times, unfortunately, were predicting. Well, we even had some people predicting relegation. We had many podcasters going way overboard. I don't want to start any wars with other podcasts for Jake and Matt, but they know who I'm talking about when I say one particular podcaster of unwarranted repute was absolutely adamant that Inter's winning cycle was over. Kivu will be sacked by Christmas. Fans should prepare for another banter era, blah, 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 which has left the few of us who tried to remain positive sat here now with a nice little smug smile on our faces, as a change of direction was needed, and it was refreshing to see us go for a young coach, someone who knows the club, who done well with the Inter youth team, being given a go and take things forward in a different direction. So as the season's gone on, it's been an evolution as opposed to a revolution. But things are starting to take shape under Kivu's Inter, and the average age is gradually coming down. The likes of Acerbi and Mkhitaryan no longer being first names on the team sheet makes a massive difference, because with Akanji and Zielinski starting, the high press that Kivu wants to install can be used a lot more effectively. I think one of the most important signings of the summer was actually the new fitness coach that Kivu brought in with him, and the team looks a lot fitter, a lot faster, and we're seeing the benefits as the season goes on. The style of play generally is obviously we're stuck with the 3-5-2, but I'd say it's a lot more direct under Kivu, a lot more attacking, not as much time spent passing sideways, and it's good to see. Standout performers so far, I'd say, would be Akanji, who's been an absolute rock at the back. Between him, Bisek and Bastoni, we have a much more functional unit, again, to play a high press. Bisek is a lot faster, obviously. he's a lad who likes to have the occasional brain fart, and it would be handy if we could let him play in a straitjacket so he didn't stick his arm out in the 90th minute of crucial games. But overall, it's a good looking back three, and a lot more suited to the high press. DiMarco deserves a special mention. Again, a lot of people were thinking his career would be almost over under Kivu. He'd had a bit of a dodgy end to the last season, obviously, and there was almost an acceptance that he couldn't play over 60 minutes. I mean, I'd come to the conclusion that he must smoke 30 cigarettes a day and probably have a glass of whiskey or two after each training session. But it just goes to show that with a new fitness regime and actually giving him the full 90 minutes, he's now flying more than he ever has done before. And I think at the last count, he was leading Europe for chances created by any player. So full credit to DiMarco. Zielinski obviously is another one. Last season, we didn't really get to see Zielinski between a combination of Inzaghi sticking to his tried and trusted midfield and a few niggling injuries. Whereas this season, Zielinski's been our best midfielder by some distance. We're seeing the player that was at Napoli, very creative, willing to take on a man, great vision, and scorer of absolute screamers, one goal of the season contender already. The forward line again is far more dangerous than last season. We have Thuram and Lautaro, which is obviously the starting pair. But as we know, both are prone to a little bit of patchiness here and there. But as opposed to last season, where you're relying on the likes of Correa, Arnautovic, and Taremi, Bonnie and Pio have been an absolute breath of fresh air. Bonnie's been a lot more lethal than we thought he'd be in terms of only scoring 6, I think, for Parma last season, and there were questions over his finishing. Whereas now he goes through on goal, and you're pretty confident that it's going to end in a goal. Pio, his hold-up play is way beyond his years. He plays like a seasoned veteran, and although he may not be particularly prolific as yet, he's more than making up for that in assists. So, again, it's a lot better up front, a lot more options, and I think the goals tally in comparison to the rest of the league is showing that. So as we get to the halfway point, we're sat 3 points clear at the top on 43 points. But yet again with Serie A, we have a very close title race. I think 5 teams could realistically claim to be in the race. So we shall see how things go. Napoli and Milan, I'd say they definitely have the advantage in grit and mentality. Inter's mental fragility can still be pointed to a little bit, but this was a problem going back to the start of last season. Something hopefully that Kivu will be able to get his head round. But if we can actually start beating direct rivals, I think we'd walk away with the league. That's about one of the few things holding us back. So, but yeah, Milan and Napoli are certainly a danger. Roma sticking in there, to be fair. I didn't think they would, but they're still not far behind. And there's also a team from Turin, I believe, who are having a bit of a resurgence, but I can't remember what they're called. I'll let other people talk about them. So, yeah, I think going forward, the one big weakness Inter have in terms of the title race, and my one gripe with Kivu, is the choice of goalkeeper. Sommer, as good as he was, I cannot believe that Kivu can't see what a liability he's been this season. Unfortunately, with goalkeepers, when they get to a certain age, and especially goalkeepers who rely on reflexes and agility, the drop off can be very sharp. And we're now at a point where, I mean, I'd love to see the stats of shots on target versus goals against, because as far as I can remember, without exaggerating, I don't recall Sommer making a single save, which a diving save all season. He's okay if something's straight at him, but anything that goes to the side is a goal. So now, as fans, you're watching the game. You've got your usual 6-pack and your fully charged vape. Well, now we need about 3 pairs of underwear at the side as well, because you're literally shitting yourself every time the opposition shoots. I can't really understand the refusal to play Pep Martinez. I know there was a little, obviously, the incident with the car crash that's held him back, but whenever he has played, he's never let us down. He's made numerous great saves. He's a much taller keeper, much better command of his area, comes out for crosses, just as good with distribution, and a lot younger, a lot fitter, and a lot sharper. It's the one thing that baffles me. And when you look at the other rivals, if we take Napoli, Milan, Roma, I mean, you've probably got the 3 best keepers in the league there, and Di Gregorio's no slouch either. So that is the question we have now: is can we win the league playing without a functional goalkeeper? I mean, if we can, I'd say that'd be quite an achievement in itself. But going forward, I think realistically, obviously, I'd love it if we could win the league, and I think we're in a very good position to do so. But I'm not going to lose sight of the fact that we have got a rookie coach, where we were at the start of the season, the expectations of people at the start of the season. So if we can finish top 1 or 2, have a good run in the Coppa Italia, I'm not too concerned about the Champions League, to be honest. Quarterfinals would be fine. We've had enough heartbreak in the Champions League recently. Then yeah, I think as far as Kivu's first seasons go, it's been a roaring success. So I'm happy to see where things go from here. And thanks, guys. I will speak to you soon.
Fantastic, Dan. Thank you very much. Very well put. We will share some of our comments as a reaction to what you said. First of all, I can't agree more with Sommer. Sommer actually currently stands in 17th when it comes to saves made in Serie A, and some of the guys above him haven't even played as many games as he had. For example, Ravaglia's in 16th, and he's made 34 saves in 9 games, while Sommer has only made 32 saves in 17 games. Unfortunately, I can't see how many shots he's faced over here, but it's not going to be very high, but you still expect him to be making saves of better quality, or actually attempting to save certain chances.
Wasn't there, I think it was the game against Juve where they only conceded 4 shots and they were all conceded by him, so those stats definitely don't help him.
And in the midweek game, he spilt one that was shot centrally over him as well.
Yes, I think it's only a matter of time until Josip Martinez takes that role.
Yeah,
of course, like you said, there was that setback for him, but I'm sure he'll be in throughout the season. He'll start to replace Sommer, absolutely. But the thing that I agree with the most is DiMarco. Absolutely, he's become key, and he always was key. But I didn't think he could take it to the next level. But if improving the fitness was him taking it to the next level, then that's the only place he kind of had to improve, and he's really up to that. And it's good to hear you confirm that Kivu has brought in new fitness coaches, because if you listen to the episode, we're wondering if that was the case. And the fact that Zielinski has taken over that Mkhitaryan role to really take that team to the next level, as well as Akanji at the back. I think Inter have something really good going for them, and the style of play being so offensive under Kivu really suits the amount of weapons that Inter have, just knocking the ball into the box over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked his point that if Inter start beating the top teams, they'll run away with it. And that's absolutely correct as it stands right now. No top team finds it as easy as Inter do against the small teams. Well, apart from Juve in the past 2 match days, but
the past 2 match days,
they
just draw to Hellas Verona.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Lecce.
And apart from Kivu actually exceeding expectations, I also like the way he's conducted himself. He's carried himself as a true gentleman, and he's been cool. He's been calm on the touchline. He shows passion, but he doesn't overdo it. You know, I would imagine him to be a joy to work with, and it is clear that he has worked in this environment before and was exposed to their youth system and actually worked with some of these players before. He's very well respected for his age, and he handles himself very well, man.
No, breakout coach of the year for sure. This is his first full season in Serie A, so it's and it also leads the conversation, but we'll save this for another day, of if some of the bottom tier managers with the bottom tier teams, so like Gilardino for example, if they had sides like Milan, Inter, Juve, who are some of the next best managers that can be born from a big move? We saw what Kivu could do with Parma, then you put him in a squad with Inter and you see what he's capable of. Is that the same case with the likes of Gilardino, Davide Nicola, etc.? Have your say in the comments. Smash the fuck out of the like button.
Turns into a football.
Or does it? We'll see you all next week. We love everyone, but especially our patrons. Ciao, ciao.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
In the football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake?
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.